learn it and get used to the technology and stuff.
I'm curious.
And then I've got to start producing.
Can you do that motion capture suit in real time so that you can capture your body movements while you talk?
I think so.
Really?
So my plan was to, if I buy a mic, I can clip it to the suit, so I can do my audio and my thing at the same time. If I can make it render in real time, if I can get a live link to Unreal Engine, I can render it live as I'm moving about, and just have a camera in certain position to render it as the game engine's going.
It reminds me of that software that It's a Gundam is using when he does his videos. Like he has his own persona, and it's all real time, and it shows his, like, he can only do his face and head movements, so it captures a voice and it translates that to lip movements. But if you can do the whole body, that's fantastic. And yeah, that'd be cool for you to do if you want to do hot takes, or I don't know, real time records of your own videos. That'd be good.
Do it in live stream.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to do videos, but yeah, I could even do it in live streams, just the face cam, visual effects.
Woo! Alrighty, guys, welcome to Smudcast number 121. This is Liana K, Geek Download. Don't make games for girls. This is a 7-year-old video, and I think it's pretty hot take. I don't know if this is going to be good. I only saw a few minutes of it. I didn't like what I heard though. So maybe my views of video gaming and creating content for certain audiences are different than hers. And that's a fine topic to talk about. Why do you make games? Why do you make media? How does that work for your audience? What kind of audience should you be making for? Or why don't you just make good media for everyone is the good question at all.
Well, so I don't think the ability to enjoy yourself is limited to your gender, even though there are commonalities between certain genders.
We could say certain genres are designed for certain genders, but I would say that...
Yeah, designed in target audience, yeah.
Yeah, but I would say that a good story, regardless of genre, can appeal to anyone if they're open to it. So let's say you, I don't know, you watch a romance. You don't like romances, you never cared for them, but you sit down and say, hey, you know what? It's got compelling characters, the settings are interesting, the musical score is nice, it's fast-paced. You can appreciate the story as a story, not necessarily as a romance story, because everything there is somewhat attractive to you for whatever reason, and we could pick music and score and this and that.
But there are, even though, because all the commonalities between the genders are not like absolute, you can have women that enjoy games for the same reason, men enjoy games, that, women can also enjoy action. It's just less of them do, not as a rule, but a generality.
It's also a strange thing to say, like say that people don't identify with a character because they're male or female. I think that's really silly. Because we have plenty of people who identify with popular media like Star Wars and say, I totally understand where Luke is coming from. And this is like an 11-year-old girl or a 60-year-old guy. Like it makes no difference how old you are, what gender you are, because the story makes sense. The characters are clear and we know where they're coming from. We don't need to have this weird sexual age identity to say, oh, now I get where Luke is coming from because I'm just like him. No. The everyman trope, the pattern of having a person like a Commander Shepard who's basically a big white slate for you to put your own motivations into is pretty standard stuff. That's when we look at the Dragon Age characters, the Mass Effect characters, at least the main characters, whether it's Shepard or the Warden or Hawk, it's like, oh yeah, it's just generic dude, and that's fine. But that's also a pattern of RPGs, that you have the amnesiac, mute, silent character. They've changed that recently, of course, that anyone can say, okay, yeah, this is easier for me to get into. I say, why waste your money? Do the effort. Pay the man to do some voice acting, whether it's several voice actors like in Dragon Age Inquisition, or one voice actor and one character in Alpha Protocol, and just go with it, run with it, do the best you can with that voice actor. And the fact that Mass Effect and Dragon Age has male and female voice actors in their games just doubles the work, but it really adds to the experience. that you can replay the game over and over again as a male or female, or male and female Canary or elf or what have you. So it's all about the gaming experience. It has very, very little to do with whether I identify as an elf or a dwarf or a Canary or a human female or this or that. It's a silly argument to make. And I always say, don't worry about this nonsensical association between player, character, and player. Make the character worthwhile for whatever storytelling thing you're going with, and you'll be just fine. So Liana K sort of argues the opposite, I think, unless I misunderstood. And I'll be happy to be corrected because it's a silly argument. But let's see what she has to say. Whoa, intro.
Hey everybody, it's
The hell's that intro?
That felt like something from the 90s. I don't know.
Hope you've been enjoying the radio segments. I don't hear them very much because they don't have them in...
Canada's top... Oh, she's Canadian. Canada...
What's with the framing of the camera?
I don't know.
So, I don't know. The shot doesn't seem framed very well to me.
I like the fact that she put up her computer on one of those old-time desks with all your pencils and papers. You just pull out the keyboard.
Why do you need two computers? Just get an extra screen if you need one. You've got room for it there. Just put it there.
Well, cool. I have a bunch of computers lined up around each other on my desk. So anyway, it's
Why?
Fine. Why? Because one is on the go.
I guess I've got one. I've only got like one really powerful computer with just two monitors.
Right. I have my monitor, which is kind of busted, it still works, for my old computer, which is lying around, which I hook into my laptop.
Also, just a second, but on the screen, is it she's just gotten a screenshot on what looks like Microsoft? It's not Microsoft.
Media player.
No, not me. No, that's not Media Player. That looks like the old, not Microsoft Edge. What's it called?
Internet Explorer.
It looks like Explorer, outdated.
Well, it's 7 years ago, so yeah.
She hasn't. Wait, what? This video is 7 years old?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it would be new. I guess this is old then. That explains why. But she couldn't even just press F11. That was a feature that was still available then.
Whatever. I'm not concerned about the presentation of what she's doing. I'm more interested in her argument. I'm just kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who made the DNS of Canada's Stop 20 as opposed to Canada's Top 20. It just looks funny. Stop Canada. Here's 20 reasons to stop Canada. Oh no!
Stop Canada now.
The Canadians are coming. Is that an actual...
Cancel Canada.
Yeah, is that an actual DNS? Let me try.
Guys, we need to cancel Canada.
CanadaStop20.com. Oh my god. What is this?
Message coming in.
It's been taken over by the Chinese. What is this? Oh my god. Is this like a store? Holy crap. It's an HTML. Holy jeez. What am I looking at? Oh, wow. I'm not even going to... Yeah, I'm going to leave that alone. You guys want to hanker on over to CanadaStop20.com? Be my guest. Joe Crazy. Again, the bint. This is Liana K. If you know Liana K, she's a gamer girl. She knows her stuff in what is it, journalism. And she's okay. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of her stuff, but this is the one that I have some umbrage with. So I have to listen closely to see what she has to say.
My city, investing admission. Anyway, don't know if you followed any of the game developers conference news other than here in my videos, because I'm awesome. But a lot of talk about women in the industry, making games for women and making games with women. We've got the wonderful David Gator.
Okay, David Gator. If you don't know David Gator, he is the main writer for Dragon Age. At least he originally was. Now he's gone. But he does all the Dragon Age books, or at least the most of them. And so he's like the lead dude for narration. And I would say he's the best one out of all the bunch. The whole writer's room at the Dragon Age at the time. So.
Out of BioWare in Canada, yay, who did this wonderful talk about not excluding women from games. And he echoed something I've been saying for a long time about women who play games. I'm going to say women and not girls because it is a different mindset. But women like me who play games, we don't need a game for us. Because if you made a game for a girl, shut up computer, volume down. If you made a game for a girl, it would be, pink and unicorns and cupcakes and...
Okay, so this I actually agree with. So this is what we were talking about before. It's silly to make a feminine game in the nature or in the genre of fantasy or dark fantasy. Just make a good game. It doesn't matter, especially when you're talking about BioWare, because you could choose your gender. You can choose the voice actor you want, at least in the newer Dragon Age games. So she's right. I think it's silly to make... Now, there's nothing wrong with making a game for this or that audience, but why do that? Why not make a game that's good in general that anyone can appreciate?
I think the general problem, which happens at least these days, is when they take something pre-existing and then try to change the audience. And then you're already alienating and excluding the female audience that liked it for the same reasons as the male audience did at the time.
I'm trying to think of a specific example like Final Fantasy X2, where I guess even male gamers could enjoy it too, but it was primarily for... the characters were all female, first off. And it was a story about Yuna finding Titus, because she loved him and wanted to find out whatever happened to him. So there was a whole quest to find out what happened to Titus. So that's essentially a romance story or an adventure story for romance. And if you really like the romance element of Final Fantasy X, then great, you might enjoy that regardless. But it was like girls dressing up. That was their ability. They were constantly changing their job class and jumping around. So that's the most, I guess, the largest mainstream game I can think of that was focused primarily on female heroes.
Message coming in.
But even then,
Patching it through.
I don't think that was targeted for females. It just had a focus of the female audience, or rather the female experience. So, and I don't think it did poorly. It obviously didn't do as well as X, but it was just a different style. I don't know. It was one of the only games I could think of in Final Fantasy that was a direct sequel that they did. So, but that's when Final Fantasy, or rather Square, was getting a little weird with all their getting bought out by Enix and this and that. Anyway, Mike Testa, isn't this DSP's X? No. Geez, seems both aged bad. I really don't think Liana K would ever date DSP. I think that's... Is DSP even Canadian? I don't... wow. Oh, boy. That's... What a strange pairing, but thanks for that idea.
Shopping and dresses and shoes, and I'm going to stab you in the eye because I don't want to play that. David Gator put it best that let's figure out how to make games that don't repel women. And that is honestly all people like me are looking for. We want to feel like...
I would agree that you shouldn't try to push away an audience, but then I would just question what things are they doing that push away an audience. Because there's some things like I guess one feminist would say that would push away an audience. Like if you just look at anything Anita Zakiza's fucking was saying, where it's like, oh, Miss Male character, oh this, oh that. Basically anything that was good at all, or anything at all was problematic. So therefore you should remove it. And it's like, no, because this is a core part of the game. Don't remove core parts of a game to appeal to another audience.
I'm trying to think.
But you shouldn't do anything to purposely repel an audience or to tell them to fuck off.
That doesn't have anything to do, in my mind, with gender or sex. That has everything to do with writing stupid crap. So if you bemoan or sort of treat your audience as if they're idiots, and you have a line of dialogue where your characters become morons, you're going to piss people off because you're like, hey, wait a second. I'm supposed to play this brilliant strategist fighter warrior. Why is he acting like a moron? You're going to insult your audience. So it doesn't matter whether they're male or female. When you're talking about good writing, you want good storytelling. So this whole concept of male and female in an adventure story is just silly. And your audience has to be this or that. So I think Gator, we know that a lot of people at BioWare, especially Gator, are very left-leaning. They're trying to answer that question as best they can in the political spectrum they sit in. So he wants to appeal to the feminist side of Canadians, or just at least the people at GDC during his talk. So, yeah, fine. It's a fine answer. It's just not the best one you could have given. Oh, LitDev's here. How you doing, sir?
Hello.
All righty.
I see a scenario where you drive away an entire audience, but usually a bad scenario and like a insulting scenario, or one that's not necessarily insulting, is if you go hardcore on one fantasy. Usually, this might be pornography, but I could also see it happening in like some video games that are just like they really want to court the male audience, that's so manly that it's the main audience will be men. But even those scenarios, women do like those games. So specifically a game, if you're talking about
the reason is that the reason men like it as well.
Yeah, exactly. Because usually, like in these sorts of things, these sorts of scenarios, when you're making a game that's appealing to the male fantasy of being powerful, what's usually in those, like really masculine men, really cut, muscular dudes, and everything, and doing masculine things like killing monsters and stuff. So yeah, it's probably going to draw at least some female audience. It's going to be mainly sold to men, but it will draw some female audience anyway, regardless. However. If you're talking about specifically a game designed to drive away women, that's not drive away an audience, like intentionally, probably not a good idea. Not a good idea at all.
Here's a interesting donation from Tyler Preston. Thank you, sir. Liana has a point. I mean, the Sailor Moon franchise are made specifically for girls, and yet their video games are mostly about fighting. That's true. So there's lots of games where there's plenty of female characters that are specifically suited for a certain genre of video games. So the fighting franchise, I assume, is mostly for men, and they play also like they don't look at the characters in a video game as, at least for fighting games, specifically male or female. They look at the style of combinations and input and how you play. Like there's lots of people who feel very comfortable playing Street Fighter, playing as Ryu or Ken, because it's solid, it's simple, it's the inputs are basic. You have nothing complicated like Zangief's moveset or all the other more nuanced characters. So it's the same idea. You're making a thing for a certain audience that just happens to involve more females because it's a license. And maybe that'll attract women or girls who like that license just because it also is for women, possibly. But there's all kinds of fighting games, like the Persona series has fighting games, the Fate series has fighting games. There's all sorts of other 2D fighters out there. So it's not just for men and women, or sorry, just for women or the anime group. It's for you're talking about a whole different medium, a whole genre of video game. So things change once you jump to video games, I think. It's more.
I think you mentioned Final Fantasy X2 earlier also.
Yeah.
So that one is predominantly like I think it's courting a female audience because it's dressed up as girl power. The main characters are all women. They're all very strong, independent, whatever. But also probably I think it had a male audience too because the women were attractive.
I would argue it was mostly a male audience just because it's a sequel to a game that everyone. It's one of the biggest Final Fantasy franchises to the point where they made a sequel, so it has to be popular with the guys. So I played it for about an hour, maybe half an hour. I was like, it wasn't really for me. But that's when games from the Final Fantasy world were becoming that weird linear experience.
Oh yeah. Also, it really relied heavily on the romance, whereas Final Fantasy X relied more on the adventure rather than the romance. So the romance kind of orbiting around the adventure story.
Yes, they did. They did involve a jumping button, so there was platforming, but you're still going in a linear direction. You're still jumping up, across a level. But you still go into that. You still go into the Final Fantasy X combat system, essentially.
Right.
So, yeah.
Game was not made for us, if that makes any sense with the double negative. Not made for us. Not made for us because we know we haven't cracked that critical majority of the market share, but we want it to not be, clearly not made for us. And no more obvious is an example of that than first-person games, which games like Bioshock and Halo.
I would argue there's plenty of women playing first-person shooter games, whether it's multiplayer games or obviously they're not the target demographic, they're not the majority, but That's the beauty of first-person shooter games. You just get in, you shoot some stuff, you get out. It's not supposed to make you.
Well, it's mainly because first-person shooter games tend to be pretty competitive. That feeds right into the what attracts men to things. Competition. Men like competition.
It depends on the
in general.
game because you can get pretty normie first-person shooter games.
If you have first-person shooter games like Bioshock or Bioshock Infinite, where it's less about the shooting and more like experiencing the story and the world around you, then yeah, you can get more of a general audience. But we have like the example she gave, like Halo, for example, Modern Warfare. Those typical frat boy first-person shooters, they can get their main draw. One of the main draws is competition, and men are really drawn to things where they can compete. They can use it to compete with.
Yeah, so games like Doom, I think, is probably more hardcore, but even then, the bigger hardcore games like Quake and Quake 3 and all these other older games, those were primarily for places back in the 90s when it was like LAN party times. You'd bring your rig to this huge party with all these other guys, and there were girls there too with their boyfriends, and they also had some rigs as well. So they played it. It's not for girls, but some girls liked it. So it's really about having a good time with your friends, and your friends who happen to be girls, and they're all enjoying the same thing. But those games are all about gameplay and competition, whereas a game like Doom or Bioshock Infinite would be more about story. And that's why you keep playing those games, those single-player games, even if they're just FPSs. Yeah, do it for the story.
Low games like that belong to, because the thing about first-person games is because of the camera perspective, there's supposed to be this element that you are the character. That's why you're just seeing your hands and your guns and not yourself. But the minute Master Chief, or the minute in the case of Bioshock, Booker DeWitt, or the Subject Delta, or any of these guys open their mouths, I know that's not me.
I mean, are you talking as a female? Because I don't see these characters talking and think that's me either, because, they don't have a British accent.
They're not drinking tea, god damn it. This is horrible.
Not drinking tea every 5 fucking seconds of the day. What are they doing? That is obviously not me.
They don't know how to live their lives properly. Who is this crazy space marine?
They're not me. That makes any sense.
You know the time when Shepard, he pulled off his helmet and goes, "I'm Commander Shepard." It's like, oh shit, damn it. I thought the voice actor would have said my name perfectly.
I thought the voice actor would have been me.
Yeah, they haven't figured out proper modulation of voices back in 2007. So it's like, I am Cloud from Midgar. It's like, damn it. Can't you do something right square soft?
Did anyone play Halo and seriously think, like, oh yeah, Master Chief, that voice is obviously me?
No.
Well, we actually come a long way. We've come a long way to have robotic voices that sound pretty close. So if they were to do that and have real-time text-to-speech, so if you input your name as Tyler or something, and the guy or girl on
well, that would kill the voice acting industry.
No, I wouldn't say it would kill it. It would just make it more competitive. So it's obviously not perfect, right? You could tell.
But why hire a voice actor if you can just get auto-modulate everything?
You could get them to do inflections. Like what you would do is hire the voice actor, have them do the majority of the inflections for a voice. Mm-hmm. And then have them... Yeah. What was that game? I think it was Fallout 4 who did that. They had like this battery of names that they recorded. And they would actually speak with the robot could speak them. If you typed in the right name. I think that was one of the first games to do that. And I think the next step is then to just have either a battery of names that people can type in, or just have modulation. I think that would be pretty cool to have, because if we can do text-to-speech on web, like Google has a free library for that, it's going to be a matter of years before we get proper real-time text-to-speech in games. So.
Yeah, but that was pretty cool in Fallout 4. I mean, say what you want about the rest of Fallout 4, but that is a neat pick there. They actually have you saying the voice. So you're Mr. Devil, Mr. Shiny.
Yeah, I think it was Mr. like Booby Face or what, all these corny, sexy names you could use that were stupid. So yeah, no, I thought that was kind of silly that they spent all this time and like an eighth of them were all these ridiculously naughty words you could use as your name.
I'm not a dude, and I'm not sick, so I'm not talking like this.
Okay.
What?
So that becomes a problem in terms of inclusion for women in games like this.
What?
Why? Why are you entitled to be included into everything? Why is that a thing that must be? Why?
No, but if it's exclusively because of gender, I would say that just generally, obviously, that's not my voice when I play Halo or Bioshock or anything.
Just because you exist does that mean you're entitled to be included or thought about when someone is making a product. This is why they make a product predominantly for a general audience. Not because they want to sell it to you. They're selling it to an audience, like a general selection of audience, like men, women, or people who like sci-fi, people like shooters, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's because you exist. Does that mean someone over here must include you? You're not entitled to be included in their thought process when they're making a game.
And there's lots of games where you can actually make your own character, so you can feel included by making yourself if you really want to. But then who makes themselves in a bloody like customized game? Usually you want to make someone who's like, you want to make someone fucking awesome, and generally people you don't want to make everyday Joe. He has his office job.
You don't make Angry Joe.
You want to play as Angry Joe? Leather jacket.
Usually when I make a character in one of these character creation games, I have a character in mind that I want to play through. So me putting myself in the game has never once ever crossed my mind.
What you really want is methed up Commander Shepard.
Duh.
Yeah, that's it. That's why I
mod the game so your head is like twice the size of everyone else's. That's what I want. Here's Fritz Philogenel. The only game I know of that says the character's name in a JRPG was Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse. Wow. Where they would call you Nanashi if you name the character as such. Also, my last name is pronounced Philogene. Oh. Then why are there two L's at the end? Philogenal?
I mean, it's kind of like me complaining that I was not included, like my personal tastes were not catered to in the latest like romance movie franchise. Like, how come the latest 50 Shades of Grey is not appealing to my sensibilities?
Doesn't
what
have
I want.
My kink that I was expecting.
Yeah, I feel excluded. Okay, I feel excluded. Why aren't you appealing to me, 50 Shades of Grey? Okay, why aren't you appealing to me, Twilight? Why not? How come you can't come out and appeal to me, the guys who want to see action and blood? What's wrong with you?
I wanted my sadomasochism to involve dismemberment. Like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Yeah, that's hot.
Which is why so many of my friends have started playing games like Dragon Age and Mass Effect, possibly because I talked about them incessantly.
Possibly because what?
I don't understand.
Because she liked them, almost like as if Mass Effect and Dragon Age Origins were RPGs that were well crafted, the original ones anyway. Well crafted, the characters are well crafted. And the thing is, drama, while women tend to like drama more than men, drama is actually a category that attracts both men and women in large quantities. So when you're making a drama, you're catering toward a female audience, but when you combine things like Mass Effect, when you have Mass Effect and Dragon Age, it kind of have all these elements in there that appeal to a general audience. They appeal to both men and women in certain aspects. So why men might like the heroic aspects of conquering enemies and the fight and the violence, and even talking to people, talking to characters. Women will like the romance aspects and what was it? Partner acquisition for a possible partner loss. The drama aspects will really draw in the female audience. It would happen. It's what happened. I always talk about this, but it's exactly what happened in D&D, the D&D community, where it started off with just basically numbers. So the female audience of D&D when it first started was basically 0, and then they started adding modules in, which are stories with drama and romance, and the female audience kind of skyrocketed from there. So the Dragon Age, Mass Effect, I played both of those games. Dragon Age Origins and Mass Effect 1, I played both those games, and that's what you have. You have a satisfactory mixture of violence and intrigue and mystery and drama and romance. you have all those characteristics in these games. So yeah, they appeal to both men and they appeal to and women. They appeal to both genders because they have those elements in them.
There's so much more going on in the BioWare games than, let's say, Bioshock
Message coming in.
for RPG elements.
through.
And
Oh,
the
yeah.
idea is that you build it's basically a character sheet just so watered down that's like, okay, you have a background, you have a origin story, and then you have your gender, and that's it. Oh, and your class, of course. But when you talk about like Baldur's Gate or any of the RTS or the real time with pause style games, that comes directly from D&D world. So that's what you expect. I don't expect that same sort of customization from Bioshock. I just don't. And to assume that, oh, like she's saying, my girlfriends would never play Bioshock because you don't get to play as a girl. It's like, okay. Does that mean you only see movies where the main character is a girl? Like, is that, you only read books if the main character is a girl? Like, I guess, if you want to do that. But I think you're missing out on the whole point of playing a game. You are playing in a fantasy world in a certain other setting that you are not you. It's kind of given. Like, I don't identify with Commander Shepard. I can't. He's a brick. He just does whatever I tell him to do, and he runs around like an automaton as he's expected to. So there's not much to him, and I don't expect FemShep to be any different. If it were, and she had all this characterization and different tastes and feelings, I'd be like, wow, I'd play as her. There's a lot.
I actually played FemShep. It was a lot of fun. I kind of played her as it was interesting because I didn't go either Paragon or Renegade fully. What I did was I made her like this hard, no nonsense character on the outside, like to everyone else. But when she talked to your crew, she's Paragon. Like she's care. Gives them care and empathy. So she's hardcore to when it comes to come down to the job. But when I had her talk to the crew, she was really nice and empathetic. So the result was I didn't get the maximum Paragon or maximum Renegade, but it was a lot of fun because the character I crafted was interesting to me.
And that was just one choice. Like, you only have those one elements of choice for, well, not one, but in most cases only one or the other for Paragon or Renegade. So even that one element, people are like, wow, I can affect the story or the subquests in some small way. And that's where people who love the games and analyze all the choices say, oh, well, this could matter later on, which was the big appeal because you wanted everything to make perfect sense and say, oh, this is going to matter later. And
that part was cool, yeah.
Yeah, and that was the expectation from the first game. And then with the second game, we were like, oh my God, it's just another first game with all these other choices. We don't know what they're going to add up to yet. And then we got totally shafted in the third game, where everything's just a number. So yeah, that's part of the appeal because you're doing a choice, and it's not just I'm doing a choice. The same thing in KOTOR, where you're doing a choice, knowing, oh, I'm now more light side as I do this. I'm doing a kind thing. I'm helping someone. I'm healing someone. Or I just killed this dude. It's more dark side point. Like, it's sort of that you get a payoff instantly, and that's the whole thing. Whereas Mass Effect was a payoff later. You're like, ooh, what's going to happen next? We don't know. So all that build up, all that set up for nothing. So yeah, nothing to do with gender though. Joe Crazy. I guess I can't play Doom anymore because I'm not pissed off super soldier powered by hell energy and a seraphim. Yeah, I know. It just doesn't work. It doesn't appeal to you. You can't identify with the character.
The thing is, if gender's a social construct, then surely shouldn't you be able to immerse yourself into
anything?
Just imagine you're someone else. A different gender.
Yeah. Checkmate.
I want my Commander Shepard to be trans. Yeah, it's just like, okay, what?
Trans ship.
Trans ship. That'd be great. Has the male body make, but the female voice acting. It's like, what? That doesn't look right. Tom the Cat. I haven't been cryogenically frozen for 200 years. No more Fallout 4 for me. Oh, see, it just wasn't made for you. You can't play that game.
You don't need to like have a character be like you to enjoy a character. Again, some of my favorite characters are completely the opposite of me.
What if they made it a World War II game? What they made it World War II game? Where we play as Rommel. All right, what is that?
Today, we will guess the Jews. No, not today. No, we will do it tomorrow after we burn them alive. Yes, that is better.
That would be a brave game. That would be a brave game.
Boy.
But I'm betting all these people would come out and say, "I can't play this because you're not a Nazi in real life."
Yeah, no. They'll give character creation. You can be a female Rommel. It's like, oh, this is better, yeah.
Well, you know, I wouldn't be opposed to that actually. That'd be pretty interesting. Although at that point, probably would just be an anime game, right?
Yeah, it would be anime.
Might just be anime game.
If it's gonna be a female anything, it's like, hey, it's Hitler. It's a female cute girl. Like, what? Why?
It's an anime girl. It's like female Hitler, but she still has the mustache and everything. The girl Hitler from Venture Brothers.
Oh dear. Oh boy. It's not even easy to joke about. Oh god. Here's
I bet you Japan would do it.
They have. They've done. They've done heroines. They've turned. There's so many games. I don't even know the names of half of them that come over to the U.S. or the Western world that are free mobile games or whatever anime games that came from that.
No, I forgot who said. I forgot what show it was. I think it was JoJo, where they had like a little Nazi in there who was a good guy or something like that. It was heroic or something. I think
Really?
when I did my first video, people kept referencing some anime where there was like a guy who was a Nazi, but he was a good guy or something, or he's a hero or something like that.
Really? Aside from Helsing and Monster, I can't recall specific Nazis in the storyline. So I don't know, man. I'm not clear. I do know that there's plenty of manga and anime out there where they take world characters, world heroes. Fate is the most popular one of that kind, and they feminize them. They just turn them into cute girls with all the proper outfits and gavels and whatever weapons they had. And it's like, oh, it's who is this? This is Caesar, really? Okay. Anyway, here's Fritz Philogene. Thanks again. I think this just comes down to a matter of preference. I usually enjoy self-inserting in RPGs. Yeah, exactly. You're playing an RPG. You're going to do role-playing anyway in your head. You don't literally need the female version of a half-elf magician or whatever the fantasy world you're in. And Tom the Cat. Female Rommel, girls in Panzer has you covered. Really? Is that the one?
Seriously?
Is that the one?
No, it wasn't that one. I think it was JoJo who had like a
Message coming in.
I think people kept saying to me in comments, like, have you ever seen this anime? I forgot which one it was, where they had like in this anime there was a guy who was like a literal Nazi, but he's a hero or a good guy or something like that.
Oh, I'm trying to think, man. It's tough. I mean,
Nazi.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I just can't. It all comes down to Helsing and Monster. It's as close as I get. Oh, here's Roan Hirushin. Thank you. JoJo's Part 2 had Nazis, one actually turning out to be a hero in the end. Oh, that's
so. Yeah, maybe it was JoJo.
JoJo, yeah.
Maybe it was JoJo.
Wow, JoJo's so weird though. I can't
Message
follow
coming in.
that storyline at all.
Patching it through.
They're so weird, but that's what makes them awesome.
The bio different is they actually have a large number of writers in their pool, and a lot of them are women, meaning more than one.
Yeah, but that's stupid. That's a stupid argument. There's more than one writer, therefore, because they're women, therefore they can write women. Like, come on. Look at Joe Michael Straczynski. He was writing all sorts of comic books and TV shows for kids and Babylon 5. Was it Sense8 he did? He's his own. He writes everything himself. Sometimes he has guest writers, but everything else is himself. It just takes a good writer.
when you're writing professionally, I don't think most female writers in this professional sphere are actually saying, "Hey, maybe I should write things in a way where women would like them." No, they're trying to write things so that they'll succeed. So even if you have a female writer on the team where you're writing the story for like a Call of Duty game or something like that, they're not thinking of a way to include women. They're thinking of a way into how can I portray this story the most effective way possible, the most dramatic way possible.
You should just hire, because it's leaning dangerously close to just say hire women to the writing room. And you shouldn't just hire women for the sake of being women. You should hire them for being good writers. And if they're women, okay, I guess that's cool. but you need to actually have someone who's talented in writing. And if you're just picking someone based on an arbitrary factor, that doesn't mean they're going to be a good writer. It just means that they're whatever arbitrary factor you've been picking. You need to pick them for their job. Don't pick them for something else that's completely unrelated. It doesn't mean you're a better or worse writer.
Also, if these women these female writers that you hire, if they are doing their job correctly, yeah, they're not going to be following the same rules that most writers do. They're going to be writing the story of how can we write a story in a way that this game that's targeting a male audience can attract a female audience. They're going to be trying to do exactly what writers should be doing if they work in professional sphere. How to make the story more effective and more effectively attract the target audience, which would be men. In fact, I forgot what artist it was, but there's EVS and a lot of the Comicsgate guys always bring up this female creator who worked in comic books, where she didn't actually like the superhero genre. She didn't actually like the whole masculine man stuff, but she did it anyway because she knows that's what sold. That was her job. Her job was to create stories and craft characters that would be purchased by the target audience of superhero comic books, which is men and boys. And she did her job. She came back covered in blood, but she felt clean. But the thing is, she didn't like it. She didn't like that genre, but she did it anyway because that was her job. Her job was to create stories that would appeal to the dominant audience, which was in the case of superhero comic books was men and boys. So she did her job because she was a professional. And when you're a professional writer, you're not necessarily there to write what you personally like or you personally think you should write. You're there to write and create things to produce a product, a sellable product, and to be able to make that product sellable to the target audience.
I seem to recall a book by Tom Clancy called Net Force. This is, 20 years ago. And I don't know if you read any of the Tom Clancy books. They're very formulaic. They're very specific. It's about counterterrorism and this and that.
Yeah, I really like Tom Clancy books.
they're pretty one-sided. So there's one was Net Force, and one of the characters is like this hot blonde chick, and she's a genius, a really good hacker, computer tech person, and she comes across like she's this untouchable ice queen sort of chick.
Yeah,
and it's unbelievable how she is, but that's Tom Clancy. Like he writes characters that are like, okay, this is like a fantasy of what would a crack team of counter-terrorist guys be? What would they be like? Well, you'd have the hot blonde computer hacker chick. You're like, really? Okay, that's interesting. I didn't expect that. So it's one thing to do that, but of course, if you're reading a Tom Clancy book, it's not supposed to be realistic. So
oh no, it's supposed to be this it's just Tom Clancy books, as far as I've seen, are just like partisan schlock. That's why I love them. I like that. I like the trash feel of them.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, he probably could have used a second opinion on writing this character, because it's like, yeah, she wouldn't act like that, she wouldn't do stuff like that, she wouldn't look like that. It just wouldn't. There's like thousands of other occurrences of getting a person.
I don't go to Tom Clancy for nuance. I go to Tom Clancy for easily consumable trash. Okay?
Exactly.
That's what I go to him for.
Joe Crazy, $5. Thank you, sir. There was a character from Kinnikuman, Ultimate Muscle, named Brocken Jr., who was a good guy Yahtzee from West Germany. It's complicated. Okay. Brocken Jr., all right. Oh, boy. Ultimate Muscle is ridiculous, but yeah. I remember watching that anime. I think it came out during the Saturday morning cartoon section. We saw that Saturday morning cartoons. That was a crazy, crazy cartoon or anime, but I really enjoyed it. And my friends also enjoyed it because it was so insane. Because we were still new to anime at the time, and like, what is all this? What's happening here? This isn't like Hey Arnold. Isn't like all real monsters. What's happening? This guy has a move called the Butt Buster, and he's just I don't know how that also to this day I have no idea how that move actually works. He just slams his own butt into the ground, and for some reason all the force goes into the bad guy. I don't know how that works, but I guess it does for some reason. That show was insane, but we all enjoyed it. When you have parody or silly, non-serious sorts of stories, then he's like, all right, we get where we're working with. We know the setting. We know what the vibe and tone is. We don't have to take it seriously. The same with Helsing. The same with other stories that use things like World War II symbolism and this and that. It's for effect. It's to make things scary, but it's not to be taken seriously. So we get it.
And so they get these various perspectives, and people have the ability to go, yeah. And they work through those problems at the writing stage, which is super important because Bioshock is getting like 10 out of 10s everywhere. And I played this game. I have no idea how anybody gives this
Wasn't
game.
Bioshock Infinite terrible? Also, I heard.
It wasn't terrible. It was they shot for the moon and tried to like cover up their inability to get to it, but it wasn't horrible. There's lots of like American jingoism and religion and not time travel per se. There are some time travel elements, but dimension travel. So it's a convoluted kind of a story, but with it is a high production value. So you get like the properly engineered Disney princess that you're trying to save. You're getting this weird grandfather paradox. You're getting all these guns, all this hyper violence, lots of great imagery, lots of weird historical anachronistic elements brought into modern times. So you get like the CCR. What's that song by CCR? Is it Good Son? Oh, Senator's Son, or I can't remember. And they put it in the form of ragtime.
Yeah, I know the song you're talking about. I forgot what it was called though. I think it's called Fortunate Son.
Fortunate Son. There we go. And it's
Message
those
coming in.
things that you're like, hey, isn't that Mozart? Like, isn't that like there's something cool about doing that? And they couldn't do all the things they wanted as advertised from the previous E3 demos the trailers we saw, which was beautiful. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. I could open up tears and close them, and I could reverse time on some of these characters. And it never got there because it was too complicated. But you still got something that was fun and interesting to play. But is it as interesting a message as Bioshock 1? I would say no, not as much. I think Bioshock 1 was a little more, to me, it involved, Manchurian Candidate. It had, obviously, the city under the sea, all these other great twists. And,
Would you kindly?
This beautiful, the whole concept of capitalism run amok, or what would happen if there are no rules. Like, those are interesting ideas. With Bioshock Infinite, it's kind of this weird self-fulfilling prophecy, because if you can constantly, just steal people and do what you want with them. I mean, it's like, you can do what you like anyway. Whether you're using the power of portals or time travel makes no difference. It's like, yeah, I'm a god. It's like, okay, whatever, I guess.
I heard that Bioshock Infinite, the story involves you trying to help out an oppressed class, and then you do that, and the oppressed class becomes the oppressors.
There's a few choices in there which are moot. It's like, do you throw the ball at the black man? Do you throw it at the announcer? Do you not throw it at all? It makes no difference. Like, it's just a choice that makes no effect on what you do. And there's lots of those things. Like, that was the thing. Going into that game, we thought choices were going to matter, and they don't. Because in the first Bioshock game, you had that binary choice. Do you save the little sisters, or do you let them go? Or do you kill them? So that was like a big thing. It didn't amount to much at the end. Like, there's two endings, but that was, that was it. That was at least something. Whereas with Infinite, it's like, oh, all roads lead to that. Like, okay. So
maybe this game wasn't made for her.
It has nothing to do with being male or female. Seriously, nothing. Yeah. Here's Fritz again. I feel like the best way to watch Hellsing Ultimate is to watch the abridged series. I don't know. It's you have to like the art style. You have to like the content. It's extreme. It's gun porn. It's just gore and over the top violence. So you have to like it though. You have to like that idea.
Sounds awesome to me. I like
it.
That.
It is very entertaining if you love very stylized vampire killing. With big fat freaking like cannons for guns and this crazy.
I think I watched the regular. I think I watched the regular series, not Ultimate, but the regular one.
That's still pretty crazy. Yeah. Ultimate is just over the top. Like, spend all this money on animation, get all the characters.
I'm going to go ahead and say that maybe Bioshock Infinite wasn't made for her. And if she doesn't like Bioshock Infinite, maybe she should just make her own Bioshock Infinite. Okay? Just make your own video games,
Even
okay?
then-
Make your own.
Even then, the messages for like American jingoism and what was the term? It's the term whenever you colonize a new place and it's like you have the divine right to take over the land and that sort of thing. The spirit of Columbia, that was the idea, that you're forging a new world. I like that. I like that message. I like that the way it was done, how it had religious flavor to it that was eschewed in politics. Like, it's this wonderful idea. And the fact that you're in the sky and there's these particles that defy gravity is like, oh, it's a fantastic stuff. So does that make too much sense? Not so much. The choices don't really matter. The whole thing again with the choices with you could choose a certain locket for Elizabeth to wear means nothing. There's no impact on anything, which kind of annoyed me. Like, why even have it, right? So, but it's a Manifest Destiny. Thank you guys. Oh, you guys, best chat. Look at that. Filling in the blanks in my brain. Fantastic. So yeah, there's lots of great messages and themes in Bioshock Infinite, as well as great gameplay and gory stuff. Not as interesting as the first game. I thought that was more resonant and more like you're underwater and everything's like in a certain space. It's all claustrophobic and there's crazy splicers everywhere trying to kill you and steal your guts. It's like, whoa. Whereas
So they do all right.
Yeah, I know. Whereas with Bioshock Infinite, it's all this American paraphernalia, and you have like these the mechanized founders who are coming after you with chain guns. It's like, holy shit. It's so funny and weird and silly that it's entertaining. And as a Canadian, I got off on it because it's like, oh, yes, this is perfect for anyone who loves or is American and appreciates the imagery. Anyway.
A tentative. And then I go, oh, wait, yeah, I'm not a white dude.
Okay, that's just stupid. That's a stupid take.
I almost just spat out my drink right there. I wasn't expecting that, but I probably should have.
She
She's a
started
racist.
off so well, saying, there's don't make games for girls or this or that, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm not a white dude." It's like, "Oh, now you're playing the race gender card? What?" So you're racist on some things, but not on other things?
You need to be a white male to enjoy these games. You can't possibly enjoy them as a woman or a man, or sorry, a black man.
You're a white male. Yeah. Back then, back in the day, it used to be the ideas or the opinions of a certain other race that was just brushed off. Now today, and they thought that obviously, why are you setting up these people? And today, it's reversed now. These people's opinions are just cast off immediately.
She's white.
Yeah, weird enough.
She's
But no,
not,
you can like Bioshock Infinite without being a white man. Okay, it can be done. It can be done.
It's a likable game. There's lots to like. There's lots to be sad about because you didn't get the game you want. I didn't get the game I wanted, but it was still something there. There was still something to look at. And I did a critique of that years ago when it came out, talking about the problems with the plot and problems with blimps taking over America. It's like, what? A blimp, really? Like, okay.
Thing is, can we say things like, I'm not going to play a game where I as a woman, but the main character's a woman because obviously I'm not a woman, or like say if the main character's a black woman, can we just say, we're not going to play it because she's a black woman?
Isn't there the instance of manufactured context? It can all those 10 out of 10s. It could be anybody. But obviously, she's going to manufacture the context to make it a race issue or a gender issue by saying, all those people that give it 10 out of 10s, they're all white dudes. And she's trying to denigrate white dudes as their opinions and their ideas are completely meaningless solely because they're white dudes. And it's her opinion that would have been the real one you have to pay attention to. So it's manufactured context to make this game less appealing or less inclusive or less of a lower quality because, they're just all white dudes. How does she know that? Does she look into every single person who made a 10 out of 10 on there? How does she know they're all white men or white dudes? She doesn't. So instead of trying to give it an actual reason, give an actual reason why it's flawed or doesn't deserve a 10 out of 10. She manufactures the context so that you can just easily brush it off. Oh, it's obviously because it's sexist. Obviously because the white men like it. That's why.
I keep forgetting LitDev isn't white.
That never actually crosses my mind. I'm like, what?
I never think about it because I never think about like race. But then I just remember, I said, oh yeah, LitDev isn't white.
Well, I haven't done anything wrong yet, as far as I know. So the media will not classify me as white just yet. But when I do something wrong in the media, I'll be white. I'll be white then.
Here's Joe Crazy. Time to stop playing Mortal Kombat. I just realized I'm not a ninja with ice powers. Yeah, I know. You get that feeling. It's like, oh, I can't pull someone's skull out with my bare hands. I can't.
You know, I can't play Portal because I'm not a woman. I can't play Half-Life because I'm not mute.
I can't play Diablo because I'm not some errant knight to go slay demons. Like what?
Can't play Squadrons because I'm not disabled.
Can't play Mega Man because I'm not a cyborg robot thing.
I'm not part of an evil empire. Can't play Squadrons.
Well, I suppose I am part of a republic, which becomes an empire. So,
Ooh. All right. Here is DB. Hey, thanks, sir. Bioshock Infinite story is very hypocritical when it comes to story versus gameplay. Okay, the story is watered down to violence bad,
patching it through.
But the gameplay tells me otherwise and doesn't commit to it. Yeah, there's the interesting dichotomy between the gameplay being hyper violent and the story being like, oh yeah, you have to go. We have to go conquer. We have to protect us against the evil communist, or what is it? The was it the Chinese? Was it there was some racist term they were. I can't remember what it was. First, it was against the Native Americans because there was that battle that they rewrote history on, where Booker was a part of. That he butchered all these people. What was the term? I can't recall at all. But yeah, it played with all these ideas. It took jingoism, American jingoism, and just threw it as far as it could go, with religion and then with Manifest Destiny. So yeah, no, it was just cool that way, and it wasn't brilliant, but it was like, oh, it makes you think, and that's all it needed to be. It doesn't have to be this big sort of, oh, Americans are evil. No, it didn't have to do that, and it didn't. It says what if, which is great, and I love those ideas, especially when you have this crazy idea that you're in the clouds city, everything's just floating, and you have this weird roller coaster sort of gear that you can just latch onto and just fly yourself around. It's a fun game, okay? It's good stuff. Is it great? Yeah, I would say it's great. Yeah, it's up there. But there's huge problems with the plot, and there's huge problems with the story.
And I think
obviously, I can't watch. Fuck, I've already forgotten the film. What was the movie we were watching last? Not the movie, the video we were covering last. The trans icon one. I've already ruined my joke.
You mean RoboCop?
RoboCop, that's it. I can't enjoy RoboCop because I'm not a trans icon.
Maggie Mayfish. That was a Maggie Mayfish one.
I've ruined my joke, but it's still funny.
All right.
Dude, atheist, to sort of not stop and scratch your head and see some of the lazy thinking, never mind some of the lazy gameplay design that happens in Bioshock Infinite.
Wait. If you're an atheist, why does that stop you from playing Bioshock Infinite? I don't see the problem there.
Just, I can't play this game. I'm an atheist.
Yeah, you're blowing away crazy religious dudes. Like, what's wrong? Like, is that... I mean, they're going to kill you, so like, what's wrong with stopping them? I don't get it. I can't kill them.
Only Christians can play Bioshock.
So if you, cause I'm pretty sure that Andrew Ryan's whole philosophy was against religion. So if you're a Christian, therefore you could not play Bioshock.
The original one, yeah.
Yeah, the original one.
If you're against indoor aquariums, I guess it's like, oh no, this is a horrible thing. You can't play Bioshock.
I think The Boys is kind of against Christianity. It doesn't mean a Christian can't watch The Boys.
I'm a mechanical engineer. No, I'm a civil engineer. No one would ever build Rapture. That's ridiculous. Like, oh my god, I can't play that anymore. No one would ever make that. It's like, that's the point. It's underwater.
No hard save? No hard saves. Boom, half a point right there. I'm a grown-up.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh God.
I'm an adult.
Are you? Are you?
I
Are
took
you really?
it. I threw it on the ground. I don't need no hard saves.
What were those chambers in Bioshock? Every time you die, you get respawned. And in the Vita chambers or whatever they were called. It's like I don't need no save game system. I'm an adult.
She's on the internet complaining about these evil white men not sharing their video games with her. I don't think she's that adult. Come on.
You're bitching about female representation in freaking Bioshock. Oh my God.
I need to be able to stop and start my games when life happens. I can't be sitting there playing till the
It's
next.
called the pause button, lady. It's very effective.
Press
checkpoint.
escape,
I guess
and then
that's
it
more
pauses the
important for
game.
teenagers because it's that constant fight with their parents. I have to get to the next level, Mom. Turn it off, Mom. I haven't had a chance to save. I'm flashing back to my childhood. Can you tell? And that was when Mom came in and forcibly turned off the television.
No, but the thing is,
Never
like
mind, the
games
console was
like
still
Alien
running.
Isolation are actively improved because of the saving system they have. Saving is a risk, and it's an intense moment. Do you save or do you risk, making so you can either divert to the save point? It takes longer time. There's more chance of you getting caught, but it's a safer. It's safer if you die. You don't have to go back all the way to the last save point, or you can go straight to the exit. Where if you die,
Message coming
you're
in.
fucked and you go all the way back to the last
Patching
save.
through.
So that can make for a lot more tense moments in games like Alien Isolation, and it means that when you play a game, you don't have you don't just keep saving and then reverting back to a save you did 5 minutes ago. It means you actually have to try harder, and you have to value your life more in the game if you lose progress or there is some kind of I don't say barrier. I've already forgot my trail of thought. Never mind. I've just leave that sentence off. You probably know what I'm on about.
Here's Joe Crazy. Me, I need an adult. This bint, I am an adult. Not a good argument. I am an adult, therefore you're wrong. Therefore my argument makes more sense. So, yeah. Sadly.
So I died and lost all my progress on that level back in the days when games were hard.
Yeah, but you have to play more careful.
I'm experiencing similar frustrations with Bioshock Infinite. In I can't put it down and pick it up when I want.
Okay, so she's arguing about the save system, meaning there's not a proper way, like I could just save my game anywhere, but that's part of the design of the game. Like that's the same problem with the first Bioshock too. Like that they designed it that way. Some PC games allow you to save anywhere. Like in Skyrim, you can just save wherever you want.
It's part of you're right. It's part of the gameplay, and that links back to what I was talking about with Alien Isolation.
Yeah, I'm not seeing like that is a technical argument. I mean, you can make that, but it's like, okay, sure, yeah, but so what? That's set your hour aside to play the game, and that's that. You're good. That's the kind of game it is. It's not the game you get up and go. You have to. It's like reading a book. You need to you have to like, okay, I need half an hour at least, nice and quiet space. Did all my work, whatever over the day. I'm gonna sit down and read. Like it's the same idea playing a game these days.
Message coming in.
Especially with Bioshock.
Patching it through.
All right, Space Wolf Blackmane. I know this is off topic. Just saw your 2003 Clone Wars video. Highly recommend Gendy Primal series. It's brilliant. Yep, we heard that.
That's what I've heard.
Yesterday. It's still coming out. It's ongoing right now. So it's only been a year old. But yeah, I'd be happy to check it out. We should probably do that for on the weekend or something. Maybe watch an episode or two. If it's that good.
And that's my second playthrough of the game, which I think is sort of critical in a game that is, deliberately broken into flashbacks and voxophone tapes. That's what they call the data recorder audio tracks in this version.
Okay, she's just jumping around now. She's going from, it's not for girls. I don't like the save system.
Hard saves don't appeal to adults.
And it's
Apparently.
strange because it's in chapters with voice recordings. Like, oh, okay. I mean, that is an argument. You can make that argument. I just don't see how those are all connected.
In this game. But you have to play it through a second time to kind of go, okay, now I see where all the pieces fit. And I'm finding it really boring.
I'm bored by the story. It's like, okay, you don't like it. We get it.
It's just a game with no replay value.
Maybe it's not made for you.
I don't know.
You don't have to play a game a second time.
No one's saying. I know.
You
Yeah.
need to.
You miss.
I mean, if you need to play the game a second time to understand it, I'd be confused about what game you're playing.
You are missing a lot. There's lots of stuff to miss, I think, in the first game. Plus, the way you upgrade can be different, I think. So, I mean, you maybe miss some upgrades. Maybe you miss some recordings. The recordings are cool, but that's also a very overused pattern that they have. Like, everyone records everything, and it's all in their video or the audio diaries, all scattered throughout Rapture. You're like, really? Okay, that's kind of contrived. True, but it does add to the story. It does add to allowing you to focus on gameplay while having something in your ear going off. That's kind of neat.
You know, funny enough, even though I'm a white male, a lot of not all games appeal to me. Like Dota and League of Legends, 2 games don't appeal to me. It's not my thing. You can have games that don't appeal to you, and that doesn't mean it's a race or gender thing. It's just sometimes your game isn't to your taste. So go to a game that is of your taste. If you don't like the save system, try a more casual game. Yeah. It's no one's stopping you from having a more casual game which you can play. There are lots of them out there that you don't need to like. Alien Isolation probably isn't for you. It doesn't mean that they should change their gameplay specifically for you, because the people who the game is designed for, the type of people who do enjoy that more intense experience, the horror experience, is why would they break that audience just to appeal to you? Especially when you can just go somewhere else for your games.
Yeah, it's kind of odd to say, oh, I played it the second time or a third time, I didn't like it, it's just boring. It's like, okay, great, we got you. We understand it's not for you. It has nothing to do with you being a woman, nothing to do you not liking FPSs, or maybe you just don't like FPSs or the genre in general. I don't know. I don't know what you're expecting from an FPS. Nowadays, most games have the RPG elements sort of thrown in there, regardless of what genre you're playing. So that you're bound to get some sort of RPG, stats, levels, upgrades, that sort of thing, regardless of whether it's on your phone or your PC or on a game console. So RPGs are everywhere now, and I think we come to expect that. And if you don't like that, that's fine. But like, not everyone's going to like everything, so it's fine. There's something for everyone out there, I'm sure.
Second play, and I'm actually going through trying to make sure I fare, because I'm going to talk about some stuff now that I'm not really sure I'm ready to talk about. So hear me out. This isn't a final point of view by any stretch.
I don't think she has anything prepared. She's just rambling. I just don't think. I wish she prepared, because I don't know. She's jumping 4 topics now.
The imagination. I'm still working through it. I'm still talking to people. We're still having the discussions. But getting back to that first person perspective, one of the big things that bugs me about Bioshock Infinite is it tells you what to think. At least I felt it told me what to think. And you are forced into the body, literally, of a white man in 1912.
So what?
My question would be, that's a weird way to phrase it. Like, a game is forcing you to play a white male. It's like, no, that's just kind of just what the main character is, and I don't think that's an issue. I don't know.
Well, the concept of the game, if you're talking about the whole plot reveal and what it means, is determinism. So it's like there's nothing else you can do. There's only one path to solving the problem of stopping Comstock. There's only one way. And maybe there are more than one ways. Maybe there could have been a DLC or some other element that introduced different options. But in this story, there's only one solution, which is stupid, I admit, but it's done in a way that makes sense.
I don't know really, because I haven't played Bioshock Infinite. I don't know if the game does tell you what to think, but when someone says a media is telling them what to think, I usually think, well, this is this good, this bad with no kind of complexity or nuance. It's not making an argument. It's just bashing you over the head with something, which does kind of happen with some more political topics these days.
Well, that's, again, a lot of linear stories have to be linear. They can't just say, well, this could happen this way, or you could have done this. Yes, but we've established, even from Bioshock 1, the choices are very limited. And even in Bioshock 1, you only had 2. So save or kill little sisters. That was the whole game, really. Whereas in the second game, or the Bioshock 3,
Coming in.
Just Bioshock Infinite, rather.
Patching it through.
There was no choice. And maybe that's what she's talking about. But if she's not addressing the concept of branch narrative or branch gameplay, then it's like any standard linear game. And if that's the argument, then that's nothing against Bioshock, because you could say that about any linear game. Expecting it to be more is another issue. I don't know if that's her point, though. Hard to follow her. Joe Crazy. They literally removed my brain and replaced in the body of a straight white male. Now you can appreciate the world of Bioshock Infinite. There you go.
That's big butt hurt territory for anybody who's not a white man in 2013. Will this continue?
What? Let me just rewind that.
Of a white man in 1912. That's epic butt hurt territory for anybody who's not a white man in 2013.
Okay, so if you're not a white man,
territory.
Yeah, if you're not a white man in 2013, you're playing Bioshock Infinite. You are probably going to be butthurt, guys or girls. I guess. I don't know why you would be.
You have to feel butthurt because you're not a white man.
Damn you!
What?
Damn you, white patriarchy in your games. Not for women.
I'm more confused about what she's saying than anything. Okay, so this game is forcing you to play a white male. You can play another game. It wouldn't be right for me to phrase, well, this game forces you to play a black woman. It's like, well, I mean, technically it'd be true, but that's just how the game is designed. And that's not like a bad thing. It's just something the game does. You play a character. The game forces you to play a character. The game forces you to shoot people. The game forces you to play the game.
Yeah, no. There's actually a story part where Elizabeth kills a black woman, and she's all bloody. And it's like, whoa, like that's like a holy jeez moment. But it's not you doing it. It's Elizabeth. You're like, oh, is it a white privileged female? Like, she's definitely white. She's definitely privileged, and she's killing a black woman. Like, oh my god. Did Liana identify with Elizabeth there? I don't know. But I didn't, because I'm a white male, so I'm okay, right? Yeah, that's good.
This continues when you get into race relations. They touch on the Irish. They have a lot of black-white tensions, but they touch on the Chinese and they touch on Jews. But typical Bioshock games, there's only one Asian character in the whole thing. Yeah, his wife's Asian too, but she's rapidly replaced by a white woman to show his ascension in status. There was not enough of a female voice.
That was a weird cut there.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Well,
because she, obviously it's from two different takes, but she cut the take in the middle of her saying something, but she continued the audio, and that looks like it was on purpose, weirdly enough.
I don't know how many cameras she's got or how she's doing her editing, but yeah, okay, there are some mentions about race. This is what's beautiful about the story, because it takes these elements and it plays with them. And I like that idea that stories actually bother to do it and do it in a way that it shows, oh, what if we had a castle in the sky that was this world of theocratic, what would we call the world of Infinite? A bunch of time dimension stealing men and women who dominate the skies with blimps and destroy the world, or take over the world rather. Weird stuff. But you can do some wacky, crazy stuff with racism and religion and all that other really nasty themes. You could play with those ideas, and that's why I like it. Not necessarily because of the themes themselves and how they're done, but the fact they actually are there, and we can play this world, and it's beautifully rendered, and it looks fantastic, and it's fun to play.
I'm more confused why she's asking for Irish representation.
I think it's because the workers were Irish. I can't remember all the lore, but there was.
Can you tell me, Smudboy, there's actually creative works out there that actually have real themes in them, like the themes that they were trying to come across, not just themes that the people who like the game just made up out of nowhere.
It's very similar to Fallout. You know how, what if the bombs did drop in 1950 and the world just sort of froze in the 50s or the 40s, 50s Americana? Like what would that's kind of what Bioshock Infinite is, only if you roll it back to, I guess, 1920s? I don't know the exact paraphernalia of the times, but to do that is cool. Like you get that motif, you get the visual and audio stuff, you throw in anachronistic elements, you bring them into the forefront, you have hyperviolence, you have hyper technology like steampunk elements or clockwork elements. You get all these cool ideas. You get the those really, I still love the design of those founding father mechanized robots. I thought those are awesome. So lots of great ideas in Infinite. Not all executed very well. In fact, some of them are pretty bad. But that's this sort of Disney approach that we got, like making Elizabeth always invincible. Like she's in harm's way, but she's never going to get shot. You know, she doesn't have a health bar. She's always ducking behind cover. Sometimes she helps you out. That sort of thing. Lots of AI. They spent a lot of time on the AI with Elizabeth, and they had to scrap a lot of code. It didn't work properly, and a lot of elements for gameplay. So, Taker 610. Rags and Mahler hate this game. You guys like it? I do, but I've said my criticisms of it over the years, so I've already had my video. If you want to search Smudboy Bioshock, I have my video on it. But yeah, from what I remember, it was fun to play. Lots of problems with the story,
coming in.
But
Patching it through.
From what we got, it was good.
Bioshock Infinite for feel included, even though the person you're looking at most frequently in the game is a 19, 20-year-old girl. But the problem is, you can feel the handprint of the man.
The handprint of the man is not there.
It's like you can feel the men touching her. You can feel the handprint on her.
You can just feel the violation of the character.
Oh dear.
Is she even sexualized?
No. I don't think so.
Okay. Then what's the issue?
I would have gotten more sales if she were.
She grows up. I mean, she gets really, really old at one point, but that's because of the whole dimension hopping thing. So I wouldn't say she's sexualized, but because like she is a handcrafted Disney princess. That's what I mean. Like when you look at her, she's like, okay, they did the research, they figured out, because they had original designs for Elizabeth. I can't remember the name. It was like an Elizabethan style woman. I can't remember the actual term. And she had like the long gaudy dress, and she was much more mature and older, but they changed her up to make her more Disney-like on purpose, and I think it works well for having this character that you want to protect. And I think that's part of the psychology of the game. It works so well because you care about this virtual character who can't die, essentially. She has no health bar in gameplay, and they make you want to go along the story. And it's interesting in that regard, because even though it is Booker's story and he's involved and he's like, he could pick up a guitar and play some music and sing with her, those moments are very, very few and far between. They're barely in there, but they are there. That's the thing. It's like, oh,
Message coming
that's
in.
neat.
Patching
And
it
it
through.
reminds me very much of like the The Last of Us. That sort of dynamic, and just obviously a very different setting. Here's Adam Wooford. Should we call Chris Hansen because she's young? No, we're fine. Bioshock Infinite's fine.
So early on her forehead this whole game, right down to the fact that they
on the forehead. You can feel the male fingerprints on her forehead.
She can just sense the men liking this game for certain reasons. She just can't stand that. Can't stand men being happy.
Yeah.
actually have first period on display.
What?
In one point. And I saw that, and
yeah, there's a part where you go to the tower she's in, and they're researching her ability, and they capture when she hits puberty and all the stages, because when she hits puberty, that's when her powers come out. So they had like all these stuff in jars and stuff. It's kind of creepy, but that was the point. It was supposed to be this horror story of her life, and showing as she grows up, and because she's trapped in this library essentially, and that's all she knows of the world. So they thought there was something.
Nothing bad can happen. With these people, nothing bad can happen. These are the same people who got mad that Darth Vader did a bad thing. Like, how dare he kill a woman? He's a bad guy. Just kind of forgot he was a villain.
Here's Dolomaticus. I do apologize. I did miss your super chat. Wow, even 7 years ago, this speak was seeping in. I don't know what's going on with Liana. She started off the first 3 minutes fine. We're like, yeah, you're right. You shouldn't be doing games for girls or games for boys. Just make good games that anyone can appreciate, etc. And then she suddenly went into white maleisms, and well, she didn't even talk about jingoism. I'm surprised she's not getting into the actual themes of the story, which is like, did you play the game? Did you listen? Like, Liana, come on.
Considering how much she hates white men and everything, I'm surprised she doesn't have like 2 or 4 million subscribers. That's really big. I hate capitalism or whatever.
Well, that was the first game, yeah. I'm surprised she didn't talk about that yet. Well, maybe she did. I don't know.
went, this is so made by dudes for dudes. Could you imagine playing a Halo game and have...
Okay, so because we have stories of her getting her period for the first time as a young girl was made by dudes for dudes?
For dudes?
Really? I don't think Ken
sound
Levine...
like a thing.
Funny enough, men don't care about women's periods.
Yeah, it's more like a feminist thing. It doesn't really sound like a thing men would be drawn to.
Yeah, I don't think...
if you could talk about like men putting periods in media, look at whatever magical girl something squad that literally unironically puts periods as like a superpower.
Feminists make cookbooks where they can cook with their period blood. That's not a man thing. Okay.
Well, I'm trying to remember. I know Ken Levine did both stories, so I mean, he did a pretty decent job characterizing Elizabeth, and Booker was pretty okay. He wasn't great, but he was okay for what he needed to be. So, unless there's a specific argument, like what's wrong with talking about women going through puberty or a girl going through puberty, and that's where her powers come from? It's very similar to X-Men. It's very similar to every other superhero story. So, and you see that little hand with the thimble on it, on one of the fingers? That's actually a big part of the story. So her design is not some silly cosmetic thing. There's reasons for this.
Having, Arbiter soiled underwear on display at one point, you can push a button and electrocute it to make the poop disappear. No, that had never happened. But we're...
Now that I think about it, if it were to happen, it would be a Hideo Kojima game, because he would totally do that.
Oh, definitely.
Liana, ever played Metal Gear Solid? Every single game has potty humor, okay? Every single one. So I don't know what you're talking about. It happens.
Hey, voice.
Hey, voice, how you doing?
Hello.
Wow, how's it going?
Good day. I'm good. How about you?
You sound like you're behind, I don't know, a ticket booth or something.
I do.
A
I can't hear
robotic,
myself.
yeah, robotic ticket booth. Yeah, like you're about to take
You sound almost like you're Alistair from Fuck, I've already forgotten what it's called.
Don't finish that
Has been
sentence.
hotel.
No,
Tasman Hotel.
no. This isn't true.
Alistair!
I'm
So
not
many of them.
Alistar.
Message coming in.
I
Well,
hate that guy.
Patching it through.
did you
No, he's you!
did you take his
He's a
job?
radio guy. You're a radio guy. You're both radio people.
He's not my
Message
brother.
coming in.
You're both radio people.
I have an actual radio. He's an imposter,
Oh,
He has antennas.
and he's already dead. I'm long for this world.
oh. Well then, welcome anyway. We're doing Liana K's take on the Bioshock Infinite game and how it has isms and tisms.
Oh wow, that game is garbage.
Yeah, well, apparently she's telling us why it's garbage for different reasons aside from the gameplay. So,
Because white men like it.
because white men like
Message coming in.
she
That's
can't
the
identify
reason.
with Booker DeWitt apparently.
I was once a white man. I don't like it.
Oh, alrighty, okay
Not,
then.
not anymore, clearly.
Does being a radio technically mean you're now brown?
Yes. Which means I can say things that you can't.
Alrighty, well, let's just keep going here.
Sup, brother?
Hello, my N-words. Yeah, okay.
Hello, all my N-words.
There you go. Taker 610. Star Wars' biggest flaw, no space period scenes. Yeah, that's all Star Wars needed was like when people get the Force, it's like puberty. It's perfect. Yeah.
Well, you see, voice, only a shiny can call another shiny shiny.
You can't use that word. Only we can use that word.
It's like how only a ginger can call another ginger.
Oh, come on. That's not fair. Straw man, what do you call it when blonde dyes their hair brunette? Artificial intelligence. Ooh. That's racist, I think. Maybe not.
Hairist.
Hairist? Okay.
I guess.
You're a hairstylist.
You're a hairophobe.
Heresy.
Hairism? Joe Crazy. Remember
Message
when
coming in.
BuzzFeed
Patching
had
it
a
through.
couple harpies paint with their period blood? No. No, I don't.
No. Oh, God.
Oh, my goodness. That's nice to know, but yeah, I never heard of that, and I don't think I want to investigate that. Anyway.
Forced into that moment of, I don't want to think about my period. I especially don't want to think about my periods when I was a teenager because they're miserable. When your body.
I don't want to think about your
itself out.
period.
Imagine getting kicked like right.
Why'd you
squarely
bring
in
it
the
up?
nuts for about 5 days every month. That's what it's like, and you don't want to think about that.
No.
Isn't it different for every woman?
Elizabeth.
Well,
You
it is
know.
a painful experience, but yes, it's different.
Yeah, it's unpleasant, but everyone has a different experience. I think my ex pretty much just had cramps a lot. It's painful.
Yep.
But it's...
Tell you what, my last ex was a cramp in my abdomen, I swear.
In that robotic mechanical one, yes, of course.
Yes.
What was it, a toaster?
Oh, no, it was fucking food blender. What a hussy.
See,
You don't want to stick your antenna in that.
if you could take on the persona of some of the appliances from Old World Blues and Fallout New Vegas, that would be really fun, I think.
Mm.
Do you even know what I'm talking about, though? If you do, then, we got to get you that DLC. That is, fantastic. The toaster is probably the best out of all of them, but, yeah. Anyway, back on topic.
See a spunky, awesome little character who's got, wow, big dreams, and I want to go Paris, and I want to fly an airship, I want to do all the things I saw in my books, but I need absolute and explicit permission from a father figure to do any of it, or
Okay,
She's locked up.
yeah, she's being rescued by Booker.
She couldn't get permission if she tried. She's stuck in a tower.
Right. And Booker's trying to get her out to deliver her to someone, his client,
Yeah.
and she just wants to go to Paris. So Booker's like, let's go to Paris, because just to make her shut up and come along.
I think the client is the Lutece twins anyway.
I believe so, yes. So, Yeah, if you've never seen the world and someone frees you, yeah, you're going to be excited. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
She wasn't waiting on her father to come back. Her father wasn't even Comstock to begin with.
Right.
We don't know who well, we do know who her father is, but she doesn't know.
Forbid the idea of a girl who's been trapped in a tower for most of her life or whatever, and has missed her entire childhood, and had really no mentor to speak of, that she would find comfort in finding, comfort in parental guidance from a father figure.
And the first guy she ever meets rescues her from that tower. It's safe to say if he's able to do that, he's probably willing to help her see the world, at least from her perspective anyway.
Yeah, people crave leaders. People crave people to teach them. They crave mentors.
She basically needs Booker, otherwise she's never going to actually escape Columbia.
It's a very dangerous place, and they see her as this sort of Jesus-like character, and they all want to protect her and save her from herself and put her back in her tower so that
Message coming
she
in.
can do whatever she's promised
Patching
to
it
do.
through.
So it's
I bet you if Booker DeWitt was a woman, she wouldn't be complaining about all this.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty much. Here's James Moore. Fallout New Vegas is my baby. It's my baby too, baby. I know it better than some of my family members. Everyone should buy it and all its DLCs. I love it so. I wouldn't say all the DLCs, but they are cool. But definitely Old World Blues is my number one DLC I've ever played in any game. So if you're going to play any Fallout, New Vegas is your thing. Get Old World Blues. Anyway.
Fireball New York. I don't get it. Explicit permission from a father figure to do any of it, or I'm going to firebomb New York. I don't get it.
That's not what happened. I'm sorry. That's at that point in the story, she is really old and brainwashed, and she does whatever she's ordered to do. So no.
No point does the game attempt to explain how we go from, oh, gee whiz, I'm finally out of my tower, classic fairy tale metaphor for feminine innocence, to, I am the seed of the prophet. Yeah, they actually call her that. They actually call her dead semen. And I am predestined to blow up New York unless this other daddy figure saves me.
It actually is explained. She's brainwashed. We see the actual facility they do the brainwashing. So no.
Also, to all of that you just said, I just have to answer. So what? So what?
Here's an idea. Have a fucking point.
Makes things
She's made
so much
none yet.
easier if you have a point.
There's nothing wrong with what you just said. There's nothing wrong about that being part of the story. Absolutely nothing wrong.
At that point, yeah, she's brainwashed, and it's not just Comstock giving the orders. It's because I think Comstock's dead by that point. He's old. He's long gone. It's the people in charge of Columbia that are brainwashing her. So
amazing. Everything you said was fine.
Joe Crazy. I prefer the Lonesome Road DLC. Okay. Even if Ulysses is a bit long-winded at times. Oh, God. Lonesome Road is... It's like the radio announcer you never want. It's like, would this guy shut up? Every time you take a step, I'm going to tell you a story.
What's wrong with being a radio announcer?
Oh, God. It's just annoying.
Excuse me, I take offense to that.
There are good radio announcers.
Well, you're not a radio announcer. You're just a radio.
And there are bad ones. Okay, there's a quality standard.
That radio from Baby Toaster.
Listen, Shiny, when you're stuck in a radio, you play the hand you
Message coming
dealt.
in.
So yes, now I'm a radio
Patching it
announcer.
When you go from Three Dog to that guy, it's just like, oh, he's like he's monotone. He's rambling on and on about the wilderness
Message
or
coming in.
the wasteland
through.
in this waxing poetic sort of way. It's like, dude, what are you trying to say? Just get to the point. And it just goes on, and it's as if he knows everywhere you're going. This reminds me of a time. Okay, yeah, we get it. Now, some people love that idea of this sort of this melancholic sort of monotone voice talking about the good old days or whatever. It's like, fine, yeah, but it just kept happening every 10 minutes. I find the an invasive narrator very annoying. So, James Moore, no, all DLC. Okay, sir. They, along with great content, fairy and bug fixes to the main game, they are absolutely needed. Okay, that's a good argument. I won't say no to that. But yeah, if you're going to enjoy a game, get as much DLC as you can, of course. If you like it, of course. Don't just buy it all because you can. There's lots of DLC I did not like. Lonesome Road was one of them. The one with the crazy, not Burning Man. What the hell was it called? Battle Royale sort of thing. That contest. I thought that was silly. The poisonous gas. It's like, this is silly.
Lol, who still plays Battle Royales?
This is like a sneaky Battle Royale in an abandoned casino. I don't remember the name of the DLC, but it was you get trapped in this gas chamber, and they put this collar on you like the Running Man that blows up if you ever escape, and it's the first one to find the treasure that's hidden in this place, and you have to do all these stupid things to. It's long. It has its own currency system. It does all these other shit. It's just to me, I found it annoying, but people who love New Vegas love everything in it, so that's good for them. I'm not saying don't enjoy it. I did not personally enjoy it. Dead Money, thank you. You got it. Mr. New Vegas is also a very good radio announcer. That's true, but that's if you get like what's his name, the singer, Mr. New Vegas. They actually got the singer, the Man in Black. What was his name? The Man in Black. Johnny Cash. Was it Johnny Cash?
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Was it Johnny Cash? Am I wrong?
The Man in Black, the real life singer known as the Man in Black. Yes, Johnny Cash.
That is Johnny Cash. I think I'm talking about someone else. I think Johnny Cash died before New Vegas came out. Could be wrong.
I think enjoyed it in Columbo.
Peter Falk.
Johnny Cash was in Columbo. I really enjoyed him in that show.
Okay. Mr. New Vegas voice actor. Wayne Newton. There we go. Wayne Newton. My apologies, folks. Mr. Wayne Newton. There you go. That was the name of Mr. New Vegas. He was better than, I would say he's on par with Three Dog, depending on whether you like Fallout 3 more than New Vegas, but I like them both in their own respective rights. He just added that charm to New Vegas that it really needed. Anyway, let's go.
From my future. Guys go, what? What's the big deal? That's just the story. And women go,
I don't know any of these women.
What?
Women go.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
I just walk up to a woman and say, "Hey, what's the problem with this?" And all of a sudden, they just break. They go.
Oh dear, Liana. Okay, I know she's being emotional and acting here, but no, I've never heard anyone make this argument before.
And these are conversations that's going to have to go on in other discussions because
explain the problem.
We can only make these assertions.
What world?
But this is getting back to what David Gator said in his GDC talk. That is that moment of repulsion.
Why is it repulsive?
Yeah, why?
Where I have to sit back, and the only way I'm going to get any enjoyment out of this game after something like this happens is for me to go,
what?
Yeah, this wasn't made for me.
Okay, that's stupid. Just because there's a stupid element in a story or something you don't like in a story doesn't mean it's not made for you because you're a woman, or the woman character in the story does something you dislike. That's silly.
Well, if it wasn't made for her, why is that a problem? That's the argument I hear all the time. That Star Wars movie's not made for you. Okay, it's not made for you. Well, how come it can't be the fact that it's not made for you? Why can't things not be made for you?
This is like 85%.
Oh, it has to be made for them.
Yeah, but this is like 85% into the game. Like, when did you come to this conclusion? Like, oh, it's like 99% done. This isn't made for me. It's like, what? What were you doing? This entire time. It's like, this is great. This is amazing. I love it. Oh, this part is not made for me. There are some
Dota, League of Legends, game not made for me. I'm not going to say, oh, well, you need to fix your game because I don't like it.
If you decide a part of like a media you consume is not for you, great. Okay, you know what you like. That's good. It shows you're an individual, but that doesn't mean that what you're consuming is bad. It's just not made for you.
Like imagine the first 90% of Mass Effect 3, and then you get to the ending, you're like, oh, that is not what I was expecting.
That is the most appropriate reaction I think I've ever heard. Is you get through most of the game and then you go, oh.
And if you say that was not made for me, that's like, well, that's not made for any human that can consume things and have a working brain, I think. So, yeah. There's nothing wrong with critiquing a part of a story. I admit that. But the other parts of the game were fine, except for the beginning. But, the other two major chapters were great. They were done well. They weren't amazing. They had their flaws. But they paid off. That's all we wanted from those games, or rather from Mass Effect 3 specifically, was a payoff that made sense.
Is she not going to explain herself, though? Because she's just saying that it is a problem for women, and that men wouldn't understand. So could you... Okay, so please woman-splain to me why it's an issue.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. Explain why it's a problem.
No. That upsets my feelings.
in your voice box. Or your radio box.
It hurts within my transceiver.
Ooh. Here's James. Here's James Moore. And now you misrepresent my favorite DLC, Dead Money. I will fight you, Smud Boy. Fine. I really don't like it, but I remember playing it a few times. I was like, this is not for me. I think the zombies are the one that threw me off a lot too, but you can sort of believe in zombies when you're talking about the wasteland. So I was like, Anyway.
And constantly repeating that to yourself. You're constantly saying, this wasn't for me, this wasn't for me, this wasn't for me. Then you're not included. You're not at the table. You're the poor women
you've been
who
excluded.
walked into an after-hours
No, not women, you.
Conference and we're completely unprepared.
Not women,
to see
you.
Scantily clad women grinding on people.
What?
And I love scantily clad
What are
women.
you-
Sometimes in the mood, I'm in the
Where are you going? Okay, look, there's one scene where a female character in the story does something you dislike. Now we're talking about scantily clad women dancing.
But it's because she didn't like it. The thing is not made for womankind.
Is this
thing is like...
She's comparing it to walking into a place where there's scantily clad women, and then she said that she likes scantily clad women, so I'm confused. Is that made for you or not?
Did we go from Bioshock Infinite to Duke Nukem? Like, what are you doing, Liana? What's your argument?
Was it Hitman Absolution?
Or
Did I?
Yeah.
I must have blacked out playing Infinite.
Message coming
I don't
in.
recall a sex scene.
Patching it through.
If anything, that would have livened the game up.
Oh, Mr. X says, shortly after Liana went on to pick fights with Anita, oh God, and becoming a GG personality or Gamergate personality, but we kept ignoring her because she wasn't very smart. I don't think she's dumb. I just think she doesn't plan out her videos very well. And she's jumping ideas like an old woman who just has like thousands of thoughts, and she's just like, whoa. Slow down there, miss.
It feels more like an incoherent rant.
Yeah.
This is the best example I can think of an unplanned diatribe.
What should be against Anita Sarkeesian? They have like basically the same opinions.
How would that work? I don't know.
Maybe Anita's too extreme for her tastes.
Oh God, yeah. I think Anita's extreme for everyone's taste. This woman is not feminine enough. It's like, come on.
Well, woman is not feminine enough. She's not. And then if she's too feminine, or
she's too feminine.
Femshep. Femshep's not feminine enough. She's a Miss Male character. She's too masculine. You can't just make female character. You can't make male characters female, and that fixed the issue. It's like, what the fuck do you want, Anita?
I still love the fact if there was a trans shepherd, that'd be hilarious. It was just absolutely freaking hilarious.
Message coming in.
I remember the whole the Tomb Raider thing where Anita Sarkeesian complained that her breasts were too large. So what they did in the next game was to reduce her breast size, and then Anita Sarkeesian's complaint was, they reduced her breast size, they took away her feminine power or something like that. So it's always something to complain about. They could
I want to imagine Lara Croft had breast reduction surgery specially for Anita, and then Anita still wasn't happy.
You know what? The character models for Lara Croft, there's nothing overtly sexual about them. She doesn't have gigantic boobs. She doesn't have gigantic hips. She has big lips and big eyeballs because there weren't too many polygons to work with at the time. But even the new iterations of Tomb Raider, she looks pretty normal. I don't get the sexualized imagery of Lara Croft. She's got less clothing on, but other than that, no. She's not that sexualized.
Boobs.
Yeah, she's a healthy.
I disagree. At some point, depending on the game and certain moments, there are times where she's more sexualized than others. But generally, especially in like earlier games, she's generally just like attractive young woman.
Yeah. Here is Edward Spaged Ward 89. Elizabeth from Bioshock Infinite would tell her to F off, something like that, I imagine, yeah. And here's a longtime viewer, one-time donor donated $5. Thank you, sir. Just for you, Spud Boy, John Ward, Clanada. Is that like a joke on Canada? Okay. Clanada. Welcome to Clanada.
Apparently she did a stream with Sargon.
Sargon and Clanada. It sounds like some sort of Ursula and Bator from Tanagra sort of thing. Some metaphor.
Sargon and Clanada at Tanagra, where the walls fell.
Shaka.
But with these opinions, I'm surprised she would talk to someone like Sargon. I'm guessing this was before his mentally deranged phase.
Sargon had a mentally deranged phase, really?
Yeah, he went a little nuts for a while.
Sargon and Canada, when the UKIP walls fell.
There was a weird moment where Sargon kept lying about his like ethnicity. Like he claimed his dad was black, but then when he released a video with him and his parents playing VR, his dad was quite obviously not black. So why did he lie about his parents' ethnicity?
I think he said like his granddad at some point, or something like that.
Oh boy,
something like that.
That's fun. Good going there, guys. Just talk about my parent randomly changing his skin tone. It's like, oh yeah, he's totally black. Yeah. Oh boy. All right.
He's transracial.
Transracial.
That's a thing.
Got a skin graft?
I know it is.
I can't believe some people actually like it. You know what it is? It's people who want to be like white people who want to be black. That's what transracial shit is. They want to be oppressed.
Okay, I've never heard of that, but that's.
You've never heard of transracial?
No.
We get so much power and privilege when you're quote unquote oppressed. So why not?
We have a name for people who say they're transracial. They're just called liars.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the easy one. Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, I have to go for now. So hope you enjoy the rest of this video. I think I do a few things, but I'll try to be back for the game night.
Message coming in.
Okay. Well, it's in the Discord, so you're always welcome to just jump in anytime. So
fantastic.
All right. I got to read some super chats later, LitDev, and we'll keep on going. Zernax, it's incoherent because she's disingenuous. Imagine complaining about aspects you like for the sake of others because of your ideology. That's Liana K. Possibly. I don't get it. This seems to be like some rambling mess. And it started off fine, and then it just turned into this weird 7-topic argument of stuff she doesn't like. And I don't grasp that, but okay. And here's longtime viewer, first time doing it again.
Coming in.
Just search John Ward Clanada on YouTube. All right, I'll check it out. Good to know. Here's Taker610 again. I prefer those low polygonal. I prefer those low poly triangle boobs of the 90s. Really? Okay. Everyone has their own taste, I suppose. I see she was like a 500 poly model or something. Surprised they can do anything with those those polygons. And Dolomaticus, thanks again. No, Shiny. He said his grandpa was black, The white nationalists called him a quadroon. What is a quadroon? I have no clue.
Don't know.
Yeah.
I do know it is a thing that can happen. That when you have a child between an offspring of two races, there's a chance that it can inherit entirely one skin color and not be mixed. But it's incredibly rare. It's kind of unlikely. Okay, I'll accept he's wrong. Maybe I was wrong that it wasn't his dad, but I still doubt he has ethnicity in his parentage.
It's a strange take, really, to say stuff like that. It's kind of like what is that? Was it a senator, Elizabeth Warren, who was talking about her Native American roots and her ethnicity.
I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm saying it's unlikely. Even then, that's not the only thing which Sargon kind of went crazy about. We'll move on because we're not talking about the Russia thing. Just move on.
Food for them grinding on people. But at the end of the workday, when you're still sort of in that professional frame of mind, I can understand why a woman would not want to be singled out as being like that or compared to it. I get it.
But no one says all women are the same.
It's never okay for a woman to be scantily clad and sexualized. Absolutely not. It's not okay for women to be forced into an asexual position. Let's not go back to the 1960s, please. Before that, when
asexual women, what?
Not supposed to enjoy sex. We don't want to go back there. We want it to be understood that when creative choices like this are made, it's sending a message to anybody who's not part of that core group that you're not part of that core group and this is not for you. And that doesn't mean that content can't be included. Or, in the case of Bioshock, you can't have a, blue-eyed, brunette, very skinny 19 to 20-year-old girl, which is that mathematically calibrated, perfect zone of hot and not hot. Like, it's that perfect.
What?
She's the Disney princess. Yes, we get what she's trying to say. She's attractive, but not sexually attractive. She's like a beautiful, but not like the way that you would think of a woman, but the way you think of as a sister.
She's also she's in a perfectly sterilized environment where they probably dictate when she eats, when she sleeps, etc.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, their food is delivered to her under her door. Exactly. Yeah, we get it.
The fact that she's white is just kind of obvious because, look at the environment of Colombia.
Exactly.
It is inherently a white-run city. There's still quite a lot of racism going on.
They have slaves that are, exactly. That's why I like this story, because there's explanations for all the not all the elements, but most of the elements that make it take place.
Also, we know Elizabeth is Booker's daughter, and Booker is white.
Yeah.
So, that's how it works.
But then she complained he was white earlier, so yeah.
But even if Booker was black and Elizabeth was black, it would make no difference, aside from having to change the story of having a black Jesus figure who's going to lead their that would probably wouldn't work. Like, you'd have to change the religion, you have to change the philosophy of Comstock. Like, it wouldn't work with the setting. So I like that.
Booker and Comstock are the same person, yeah.
Yeah, so you have to actually have Booker be white. You have to have Elizabeth be white. It makes sense.
Because if they weren't white, then Comstock can't be white, and then therefore the white people aren't the bad guys.
Well, there is the idea that she sees through all the doors and all the possibilities, all the versions of Elizabeth and all the versions of Booker and all the versions of Comstock. Surely, in one of those versions, they're black. But
yeah, I guess so.
But would that mean they'd make their own black Columbia? Maybe. Would that be racist? Maybe. I don't know. But we never got to see that part of the story. But it's not important. That's not what the story's about. We don't need to see that. But the possibility is there, and that's why I love the idea.
It would just be the same story, but with colors inverted. So I don't see what's to be gained.
Right. It's the same story, but then the whole thing would be like racial superiority or something like that, because the rest of the world was also still kind of racist at that time. And then you're talking about this power controlling the planet because they could fly or whatever, which is silly. But that's the story. We get it.
Also, we're fucking talking about a little girl who's a special entity that can open rift holes in time and space.
Yeah, that's kind of important. So
I don't give a shit if her eyes are blue.
Yeah. But again, she is the very finely tuned and created Disney princess. We get it. We know it. There's a wonderful little, not GDC, but some sort of video, how they came to make her and how they started. I don't remember the term. I thought it was Elizabethan. I'm wrong. It's some other term about the type of woman in that era, and she wears a certain type of dress and has her hair a certain type of way, that sort of thing. Anyway, Joe Crazy, Liana, honey, sweetheart, your incoherent ramblings are going nowhere. Yeah, she's jumping around. It's hard to follow.
Intersection of guys can kind of quietly go, yeah, I'd do that maybe, but not really. I don't have to.
What?
I don't think you know how guys think.
Do what exactly?
I guess do the sex.
Yeah, I'm attracted to the Disney princess chick.
That's what Elizabeth screams. She even starts this thing in like a quasi schoolgirl outfit. I mean, come on. It's borderline fetish. And everyone's going, no, it's
not.
I will give the argument.
That's a screenshot right there.
I figured that yes, there's all, because it's the fucking internet. There's Rule 43 for everything, but not 43, 34. God, you can tell how out of touch I am. But the dynamic of Booker and Elizabeth is not one of romantic interest. If anything, it's a codependent father-daughter relationship, because they are literally father and fucking daughter.
Yes,
but there are people who have an attraction towards Ellie from The Last of Us, but just because there are people like that doesn't mean the game is designed towards
that. Relationship, Joel and
Ellie, it is
the exact same dynamic.
I would argue though,
because you're portraying their relationship in that way. You're not going to convince most players that it's actually a relationship of romantic interest, because the game is not presenting it so.
Especially since it's a first-person game that immerses you in the world in that role.
I'm actually going to give this argument to her, because we can say a person can be attracted to anything sexually for whatever reason, and I don't care what the reason is. And if it happens to be an actual attractive young woman, fine. That could hit some checkboxes somewhere. So I don't care. That's fine. But that's not actually in the game. Okay? That's just that's your subjective reaction to art. And I'm like, fine, yes. You can have whatever sexual reaction you want to it, whether it be a depiction of a female or a white wall. It makes no difference to me. So let's give her that. Let's just keep going.
It's not. Come on. If it wasn't, they wouldn't sell as many games based on that great big hentai eyes, insert tentacle right here.
What the fuck?
What is she talking about?
Where's that coming from?
I don't know what she just said or what she's getting at.
The fact that this is where your mind went shows more about you than it does about us.
I don't know.
I'm speechless right now.
I never saw the scene of Booker rescuing Elizabeth from the tower and thought, you know what this scene needs? More tentacle porn.
I'm just going to say that she probably doesn't understand the male mentality, and even then, it's like people think differently. Like the idea of, selling games to, a general audience, not a niche. And you do things like weird tentacle porn, that's a niche. Fetishes, by their very nature, are a niche. So why would they get more money by appealing to a niche?
Well, again, I would say fine. I'm sure some people out there think this way, but that's not in the game. So you could have your fantasy.
But no, she's accusing the developers of making the character for a fetishized porn.
Well, no, that's stupid. I mean, that's just...
No, but that's what she's saying.
Yes, but I want to accept the fact that some people could subjectively react this way and think this way, and that's fine. But we still have to admit it's not in the game. It's not there. So I want to be clear that
wasn't the designer's intentions.
Yeah, like I can look at any female character in the game and say, okay, this is sexually suggestive. This makes me aroused. This is a beautiful rendition that is a fine example of femininity and whatever. It's like, yeah, maybe, but is that actually addressed in the story? If it's not, then who cares? So,
I mean, hell, there's look at all the Abby Ellie crossover stuff there already is.
Look at that.
Do you think that was Neil Druckmann's intention when he wrote the story?
No, but same with the Maggie Mae Fish analogies of phallic imagery with guns, thinking that these are sexual objects. It's like, that's ridiculous. Some people are doing that, but that's not actually in the story. So you can think that way, but if you're trying to make an argument for it, it's silly. You're just not gonna. There's no ground to stand on. So we must admit, though, yes, this does happen in some people's brains, but it's not in the story. So
that's it. You've got that friend who goes there. You've got that friend
not really, no.
who's drawing Elizabeth being raped by a tentacle fan art right now. And they're never going to post it, but they've got it tucked in a drawer. These guys exist.
I'm just going to check my drawer. No, not in there. You guys.
So again, these people do exist. I agree. However, 0.001% of the audience, I would say, that she just described.
Again, a fetish is a niche.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, it's like, but she's making it sound really common. Like all men have a friend that's into that shit. It's like, I don't know fucking anyone who's into that shit. It's like checking my drawer right now. It's like, no, just a bunch of socks. Oh well.
Here's Joe Crazy again. When I first saw Elizabeth, my first thought wasn't the most popular search term in Japan. Okay, there you go. See, everyone has their own thing. I get it. It's cool. But again, she's describing this percentage of the gamer audience, or not even the gamer, just the audience in general, who is just in the fractions of the fraction. So, not the best argument. Not. It's like saying there's this niche audience for this thing I'm talking about, which is stupid. You're like, yes, there is always a niche audience for this thing you're talking about, which is stupid. What's your point?
Like it or not, they deserve a spot at the table because they buy games. But
no, they don't. Liana, just because you described a bunch of perverts doesn't mean they deserved a spot at the table for Bioshock Infinite. Okay? There are plenty of other things, games or otherwise, they could have that they would be happy to be with or be at and play and watch and read, etc. Okay? This weird inclusive argument. It's like, let's get all the pedophiles. Yeah, they deserve a seat at the table of Bioshock Infinite. It's like, wait, why? Why would you want them at the table? Why do we have to have the porn fetishes of this particular fetish? It doesn't make any sense unless it is part of the narrative in some smart way. Now, if it's sensationalistic way, then okay, that's the nature of the story. It has sensational sexual fetishes of that style. Great. That's the genre, or that's the subgenre, or that's the element in that scene. But it's not in the game. So why is she talking about this? What? She's been going on about this for about a minute and a half. I'm just like, Liana, please make a point.
That's the same we have to make to women gamers as well.
Really? We have to treat women gamers as the 0.00 whatever demographic.
Fetish.
A fetish quantity.
Well, okay, I'll be disgusted by all women then if we have to treat them like the same people who like a disgusting fetish.
That women must have romance. They must have 20 minutes for scenes between men and women talking about their feelings. And then they all sit down for a slice of cheesecake and talk about the weather. I don't know. Like, what do you do? Maybe it's a British thing. They all sit down for tea and they talk about traveling in Europe, I guess. I don't know. Whatever the British folk do that nowadays. This is a silly topic to be discussing, to be inclusive to a certain audience for certain
be
scenes.
careful, Liana, your kinks are showing.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Where is this coming from?
And so it's a question of an additive approach, not a subtractive approach.
What does that mean, Liana? You want to take stuff out of the game? You just want to add crap just because...
What's an additive approach?
Well, yeah, it's...
And what does that have to do with including women?
Meaning, okay, you have your audience, right?
Or fetishes.
90% of your audience is
How
for...
many women... How many
no,
women
she
do you
almost-
include before Liana's satisfied? 2?
But I have
4?
another question. She says everyone must be, or like, this fetish needs to be included. They deserve their place at the table. So, and same as women. Are you suggesting that everyone you should create a game like that for everyone? Because games which appeal to only certain people are perfectly fine and valid because there are niche audiences for strategy games. There are niche audiences for we'll try to games which don't appeal to like everyone.
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls. Yeah, not everyone enjoys getting frustrated and hating yourself and falling into a deep depression because you can't fucking beat the boss. Anyway.
Oh, I love it. I did it.
But yes, games don't have to be for everyone, but there are games out there that appeal to more general audiences. It's like you shouldn't you shouldn't have to appeal to everyone with Alien Isolation, even though it appeals to a lot of people already.
This is nothing more than just saying, well, if you only did this, you would make this demographic happy, and they should have allowed that in the scene, or had this choice available when it's not a choice-based game, or all this other crap, like we see with the character creator in Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't have options for hearing aids or people with wheelchairs or whatever bullshit. You're like, wait, what? That's stupid. Like, why would you have this crap? Because they're more inclusive. I don't care. Okay? Get it? And she's not even talking about that. She's talking about a story beat which she doesn't agree with, which happens to involve a female. And you're like, wait a second.
What was the story beat again? Because we've gone around in such a big circle.
I think it was in the future, Elizabeth bombs New York. This is like 2077 or whatever. I don't know. Whatever future event.
Did she bomb New York?
Elizabeth is brainwashed and the brainwashing is just wearing off. And the only way it could have happened is because the community as well as Comstock caused this to happen. So a man.
You broke up, Smud. I guess.
Yeah, your voice is breaking up.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
A little better, yeah.
Okay, so what I was saying is that in the future, old Elizabeth, the brainwashing is wearing off, and she's bombing New York at the behest of Comstock and all his cronies that caused her to be this weapon for Columbia. So that's what she didn't like. Because it's, again, the male controlling the female. You're like, oh, okay, that's fine. But what if Comstock was a woman? Like, would that change anything? No, it wouldn't.
But obviously this lines up exactly with the whole purpose of the story. That's what she was used for. Well, that's the plan for her anyway. It would have made no difference if she was a boy. If she still had this power for them to abuse, they'd abuse it.
Yeah, exactly. So the idea that she hits puberty, then she has her power, whether it's a boy or a girl makes no difference. The fact that you're protecting a Disney-like princess, and to me it works more as a woman, as a little girl, or as an adult girl, or a adolescent girl. It just
more
feels
to connect.
Yeah, like you want to protect girls more than you want to protect boys for whatever reason, for whatever genetic reason you want to argue. It just works that way. So to make her a Disney princess works even more. And it's not because she's sexualized or she's attractive. Obviously, she's attractive because she's a Disney princess. She's made to look attractive, which is great. She's a great voice actor. She has lots of cute scenes. She's a free spirit. She wants to explore the world. She has all these hopes and dreams. It's pretty. It's nice. And you're in this horrific torture world of death and killing. And you're like, I got to protect this girl. It works on a visceral, simple, guttural level. And I think that's important to the story. Just on a visual storytelling level, I think that's good. And if it was a boy, it wouldn't work as effectively, but it would still work.
So something Dogmatic has brought up in chat. So he says at Smudboy, what is scary is that this was before she ran into Anita and Gamergate. She sounds like Anita, and I have never seen this video before, and now I understand why people stop watching her.
Oh, well, I don't think she comes across as Anita is like dyed-in-the-wool crazy, like female feminist anti-sex crazy, and Liana is just sort of rambling. Like again, the first 3 minutes of this video were fine. It made sense, and then she just kept running into the opposite direction and just changing topics. And this is not how you formulate an argument. You stick to the point of what you're trying to say, and you have supporting points, and that's it. And she's rambling on about this one story beat she doesn't like. Therefore, it's not made for women. Therefore, it's not made for her. It's not made for women. It's only for guys who like tentacle porn. And because this is not tentacle porn, if it were, it was this. And then she just kept going. And you're like, dude, like, whoa.
Yeah, we need to dial it way back.
I don't know if this is a female argument technique or just her, because it's just rambling, blah, blah, blah.
We're not telling you to take content out of games. We're saying add things.
See, this is, again, a stupid argument. Just add crap because I said so.
So what would you... So you're not saying not take this character out, add more other than this character.
Which is strange.
So you're just throwing stuff in there for the sake of appealing... What would fix this issue? Just like, well, she can't answer me. But my question to her would be, what would they add to the game?
Yeah, this is
that
like...
would make this suddenly just appeal to women? And then wouldn't it feel insulting if they just threw something in there like that to appeal?
This is us arguing that the bombers in TLJ are bad, therefore add in Y-Wings. It's like, well, that's even worse because now you have Y-Wings over here, which are perfectly fine, and the bombers are doing the job, which they shouldn't be doing. You're like, what? No. So...
I'm confused because this was all coming from the idea that she didn't like the bombing of New York scene.
Yeah.
It's like, so if you don't like that...
No, she doesn't like the character at all. Apparently there's no explanation for why she's like this.
But if you take that out, then you have removed something. However, if you just take it out and replace it with something else, you don't have more thing in the game to begin with.
Also, everything in a game needs in any kind of structured narrative, everything has to have a purpose. You can't just throw something in there and not really have any point to it. Like, there's a reason for every character you have. There's a reason for, everything you bring up, because it has... Otherwise, you're just wasting time. You just throw in a character for the sake of throwing in a character, and then you just waste this time with this character that doesn't need to be there, which is why people complain about characters that have no purpose in a story and only be there to be annoying.
Yeah, so she's arguing a certain story beat that should be fixed. I agree, there should be some other exposition. But instead of actually fixing that and addressing the problem, she wants to add crap, which would appeal to women, I guess. I don't know. Let's just find out.
Add things for black people. Add things for Indian people.
Oh my God, are you crazy?
When you end up pleasing everyone, you actually please no one.
How many minorities are we going to... Okay, do we have the black content? Do we have the white, Asian, Latino? This is stupid.
But you've already added a woman to the game.
Do we have the paper airplane enthusiasts? We got to get some paper airplanes in there, guys. What else? The Eskimos? The dolphin fanatics?
Where were the Chinese people in Black Panther?
Yeah.
These are more Indians in Black Panther.
This is retarded. How did she get... Glib! Oh my God, you got to the most crazy part of the story, or the videos, the last 2 minutes. Holy jeez.
Yes. I was driving around. I couldn't come in, but I just wanted to say I think it's funny because Liana is like the most hypocritical person. She can't decide which side she's on. Is she on the side that doesn't like politics and gaming, like she said 8 hours ago, or is she want more whatever in Bioshock Infinite?
Well, this is a video made 7 years ago, and apparently she's changed a lot, according to a lot of people in chat.
She changes every fucking minute.
She was on a stream with, was it Southpaw and a few other guys, and she just rambled for a long time. I was like, did you let other people talk? Like, what are you doing? And I think this is her technique of communicating. She just has an idea, which connects to another idea, which is super related to another idea. It's just like, Liana, what are you trying to say? What's wrong with the topic at hand? And I don't think she prepared an argument. I don't think she prepared a conclusion. And if she's just talking about throwing shit into a piece of media because it needs Latinos and blacks and white, you're like, no, you don't do that, Liana.
Black people. We need more blacks.
And
I want them to start talking like they're 1800 slave owners or something. If we could get some more Hispanics in here, we could really do some farming. That's right, Eugene.
Let's get the black vote going for, like, what are they trying to accomplish here? Like, do you want like the demographic of fractional people from other parts of the world? It's like, okay, we don't have the Eskimos yet. Maybe we should plan a scene. Let's go to North Canada to get some of those Inuits. Like, oh yeah, they'll love this part in the game where Elizabeth saves the seals or something. Like, what? Why?
Let's just jam a bunch of very valuable developer time. Let's just jam the shit in here.
Yeah, we need some penguins.
Nonsense.
Get some penguins in there and some dolphins.
Emperor Penguin guy, forgotten his name already.
King Emperor Penguin, yeah.
King Emperor Penguin.
Throw him in there. Why not?
We really needs more penguin representation in media because there's not enough penguins in games. What are you doing, game developers? We need more penguins. Come on.
Oh boy.
Well, for a matter of fact, there isn't enough radio protagonists in games. There's not enough clone protagonists. There's only one Commander Shepard, so I guess you're underrepresented in games, Smud.
Oh dear. Yeah, we really need more static bricks running around bashing their heads in the walls.
How do you like 27,000 subscribers and 1,300 videos? Like, holy shit, 1,300 videos, dude? That's a lot
over
of
the
videos.
course of a long ass fucking time.
I mean, yeah, it's like 14 years. You know what I mean? But that's a lot of videos. Let me do some little math on that while you continue.
All right.
Add things for Asian people. Add things for women who, guess what, are all those colors too. So that
they all have to be in the same game.
Have your white boy spank material. No problem.
White boy spank material.
Okay, so we're making
over
a game.
A non-sexualized character.
We're making a game for white boy spank material that have blacks, Asians, Hispanics, Europeans of all colors who are also women. Like, what is happening to this story? There's all these elements.
I think that works out, and someone can correct my math, but I think she's released one video every 4 days. That's a lot of videos.
Wow.
Well, I think Mundane Matt probably releases one.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You don't need to calculate that. There's things which calculate that for you.
Yeah. A calculator?
Yeah.
No, there's there's certain websites and such which kind of give you all the information on YouTube channels, and they say the average time between uploads, like video, and all that kind of stuff. Average length of videos, average views, average sub growth, etc. Let's go.
All right.
Problem. Give us something so we can be part of it too. That's all it takes. And while that means you might...
That's all it takes? That takes like every goddamn...
That's a lot.
That's like all this shit. Let's put all this filler shit in this story so people feel something. I don't get what her argument is yet, but what's the point?
Do you know what people want? Filler. Because that's not one of the main complaints about TV shows. Fillers. Just fill some stuff in there. It doesn't matter what it is.
That one annoying word I hate in stories, filler material. My God, God. Let's waste everyone's time.
That's an idea. Have a point.
With no dramatic elements, with scenes that have no lasting effect on the story, just crap. Have some dramatic crap. It's like, thanks. It's now a soap opera for 2 chapters or whatever.
not be able to do the white male narrative as, nuanced and everything as maybe you'd like to.
Oh, let's not put any nuance.
What?
Oh my god.
Don't make a white male narrative as nuanced as you want
Mystery
to.
and intrigue and arcs and suspense. Let's not do that. Let's add other extra crap fantastically on a great idea.
What's a nuanced white male narrative?
Oh my god.
And why should you make a non-nuanced one? I don't know what any of this is.
Let's make our characters completely flat. We have no time. We have to get to the next scene. The next scene has Eskimos, and they're hunting prairie dogs in northern Alberta, and they're migrating to Florida. So it's going to take a long time, guys, okay? They come across some bison. They go to Wall Street. They defeat capitalism, and I don't know, maybe they fly a flying boat, because we have to think of all the boat fanatics out there. But this is in the sky, so we have to make the boat fly. Because people love airplanes and the story of Bioshock Infinite. It's like, oh my god, like where do you stop, Liana? We have the hobbyists, the fetishists, the blacks, the whites, everything in between.
I want
Also,
more
this is all
blacks
just looking
in
at
my
people.
Shiny. I want more blacks in my tentacle porn. It has to be incestuous Bioshock time traveling tentacle porn for it to be inclusive. I'm Liana K, and I approve of this message.
Isn't this borderline insulting, though, to say, like, generalizing and dumbing people down to such extent and stereotyping them to say, hey, look, you're a black person, you like this. Hey, you're a black woman, you like this. Hey, you're an Indian guy, you like this. Here's some
Listen
this
here,
for you.
fat.
I'll pat you on the head. There you go. We'll give you a handout.
You think it's borderline? It's more like borderline personality disorder.
Well,
where are all my Asian gays in Bioshock Infinite? The thing about fucking early 1900s exclusionary politics. Where's all the midget Mexicans? They need to play with their sombreros, because that's what I know Mexicans as. I'm not racist. I just stereotype everybody and want them included. Be a stereotype for me, please.
what they really need is some more ass characters for those black men.
All right, love. We're going in Tolkien style. I'm English, but not really.
We need some more T scenes to appeal to these
black,
Brits.
Irish, Italian, Ethiopian.
Yeah.
We need some poutine to appeal to these Canadians.
Oh, you like Asian culture? Is the movie have anime? I want the anime in the movie.
I hate Mongolians.
I hate Mongolia. Don't put Mongolia in a movie. China #1.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
If you're gonna be offensive, at least be funny. Come on.
Okay.
Other people get to play too, which is what games like, the BioWare games do so well. What
The BioWare games do so well, with their amazing character creation of mess up a face. I could be hideous, or now I could be a creature.
That's true.
I'm
That's
an ugly
painful,
elf
it's
now.
true.
Ooh, now I'm an ugly dwarf. Like that's great. Thanks.
Gears of War for everybody,
Gears of War. Oh, really?
crapping.
The one thing, you do notice with a lot of Mass Effect playthroughs is that there's generally not a lot of diversity in the characters' faces, despite the character customization, because anything else other than the base model looks horrific.
They based it off. Was it Mark Vanderloo or whatever his name was? No, it was something else. Anyway, yeah, and they just went from there. So this is a really well articulated, structured face, well proportioned, nice symmetrical. And there's what if we blow up the cheeks? What if we stretch every which direction? And you get the most like the most non-natural looking face you could possibly imagine. And going, oh, that's not how those muscle groups actually articulate.
That's not how faces work.
Yeah.
My face is tired.
You may be watching faces wrong,
Yeah.
but you're watching faces wrong.
Here's the thing: you're emoting wrong.
Well, there's the actual structure
Also-
of the face. Then there's the stupid makeup bullshit.
Right. I think it's funny that she thinks that's the reason why BioWare games do so well.
Yeah.
But can I just point to Anthem, which you can
Anthem
do character
didn't
customization,
exist.
and you can also point to Andromeda, which
Those
still has
didn't
character
exist yet.
customization. And I know it doesn't exist yet, but just because they have character customization doesn't mean they're successful.
Which is funny. 'Cause
PP.
if you look at the customization of Inquisition, along with the 2 male and female voices, so the 4 voices you get to choose, the characters actually look good. Like they did some good character creation in Inquisition using the Frostbite engine. Whatever the hell happened in Andromeda, I don't know. But I don't know why they included like every option for the standard models. Like you have like 8 or 9 of them, whatever they were. They did not look very attractive.
Mm.
And even
Like there was, it created even worse faces. Like you could create some really outlandish characters, but then all the characters, everyone in that game, looked like Negan beat them in the face with the ugly stick.
Yeah, I know. I don't mind the option in gaming, like to do the like. Okay, I'll make thin eyebrows or nice pointed chin, whatever you want. That's fine, but make it attractive so you're not like messing around with the point where okay, I'm going to make this guy's forehead ridge stick out like his nose, and it's like no, that's not. You probably don't want to do that. So
It makes sense why this video has 2,000 views on it.
from 7 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, who suggested this? What the fuck?
Oh, that's BB in the chat. He's like, oh, guys, check this out. Apparently she has a worse one about GUI, about how the HUD is too masculine or too feminine or something like that.
What?
Oh my god, dude, what the fuck is this chick on about? I mean, what the fuck?
We have
What's
2
with
minutes.
the HUD?
2 minutes. We can do it.
It's just inclusion. And it's adding those little things here and there that really matter.
Okay, this is the exact opposite kind of philosophy we have towards editing. Like you don't start adding stuff. You actually take stuff away. You remove content to clarify and clean up your ideas and your writing. So,
And then the argument changes to replace the white people.
really? Oh my.
Well, no, because I'm saying that because the diversity, because obviously you can't just add stuff in there, that would be insane. It then just goes to, well, if you can't add diversity, take away the white people.
Take away the whites! Get them out!
Oh dear.
Do you know what? We're going to take Superman, and we're going to take him away, and we're going to make him black. we're going to take Batman away, and we're going to replace him with a woman.
Wouldn't you consider it really pandering to just throw in a black character that adds nothing to the story and be like, hey, look, black guy.
Oh, you mean like with Batwoman?
Oh, hey, Finn! Oh.
You saw the picture of Batwoman with her frizzy black hair?
No.
I didn't see it?
No, I have not.
That's in the chat, don't worry.
Scroll up in Smudcast chat.
Just seriously pandering to just be like, huh? Look, chink.
Yeah.
Message coming in. Patching it through.
Here's Taker
I'll
16.
post it again for you.
How many?
Oh my god, I've seen the picture.
Yeah. Shall I show
She's
chat?
a woman.
Oh, Christ. Yes,
I wouldn't fuck that bitch with a stolen dick.
I honestly don't know. It might look like she's supposed to be like a young, like almost she looks like a child. Like some child you see on like some really shitty children's show.
It's like the Marks and Spencers. Dress up as
Glib.
Batwoman for Halloween.
Voice. Have you ever seen like MI High?
No, I'm not a virgin.
But it was
I used to be.
It was a really shitty kids TV show on CBBC I watched when I was like 8 or something.
When you were a little virgin. Psh,
Well, I mean, an 8-year-old is generally going to be a virgin.
I lost my virginity at 0. Get out of here.
Anyway, as you can see,
No one? Okay.
her hair is natural, apparently, which kind of defeats the purpose of having a wig that the previous Batwoman was using. So, not the greatest.
That's natural.
Her hair is very specific,
Yeah.
And it's also got highlights, which means it's even more specific.
So to be this sort of black woman with hair, you have to get it treated. You have to get it done at a shop. So she has to routinely go to get her hair done.
Gotham City.
Yeah, I guess.
Gotham City must be a very humid climate in Gotham City.
I have a question. Why would you have hair? Why? Isn't that going to get in your face? What are you, stupid?
Yeah, what's the point in the Batwoman wig? Because isn't that just going to be like terrible in combat? Like it's something that a criminal's just going to grab and like, look, I've got you by the hair,
and then knee her in the face, and then smash her face into a million pieces, then take pictures of it and post it on the internet and be like,
"Where's Batman? Huh? I got your girl right here, Batman."
There's a reason why women in the military have to have a military haircut. It has to be a short length because otherwise it's going to get in the way.
But let's be fair, a cape is not exactly useful in a fight either. That's
no capes
that can be grabbed or get snagged. So
yeah, that is true. But we're talking about someone who doesn't have hair, doesn't have something which can be grabbed. Well, she does have hair, but not long hair, and then she puts on a wig.
All right, we have a donation from longtime viewer, first-time donor, donated $1. And he's repeating the word glib, 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 glib over about 30 times. So
that sounds about right.
Yeah.
If you could do more, I'd be impressed. But that'll do.
And here's Taker 610. Thank you. How many white males are included in foreign films? Ooh, I don't know.
Not enough. We clearly need more gingers. Ginger representation is not. It's on the way out.
We need more Irish representation.
You see, the problem is that gingers are known colloquially. Not this isn't my opinion, but they're known as the black people of white people. And because of that, they're discriminated against. Now, we need a ginger awareness program, and we need more gingers to be walking around because they're just so sexy. But yeah.
Ginger people are not the black people of white people. Irish people are the black people of white people.
Are they people?
Yes.
No, I'm just
Irish
kidding.
people aren't people.
No.
They're chads. No, I'm just kidding. But I think it's funny. That's all just like a play off on how people keep replacing gingers with black people for some reason, and then the joke is that it's the same. It's the same amount of letters as another word, and it's like, how can you be so unself-aware and brain dead to think that all this inclusion and tokenism is good for any culture? Like that's the only reason why we have to make fun of it. It's like, I want more. We're making an English-speaking movie. Let's get some more foreigners who don't speak English because it's inclusive. It's the same logic as saying we need to change this character to a different ethnicity or a different gender. And yet they do it. And then they complain when it's shit. Because it's funny because Bioshock Infinite isn't even a good game. The game is bad. And yet he's like, let me fix this up real quick with this.
Coming in.
No, it's not going to work. And then bringing up tentacle porn is just showing, like, now we know Liana used to or has a friend that is into tentacle porn. So I'm just like, why can't we just get good content? What is this all about again?
Yeah, this doesn't improve the story or the gameplay of Bioshock Infinite even a little. It's like it's changing the color of the Band-Aid.
Yeah, exactly. And they complain about that too. They're like, why is flesh colored this color? It's like, well, because it was invented by these people.
Why is what? What color? What color?
Why is this Band-Aid flesh colored white, or why is it pale? Are you saying that the default skin color is white? And then you go, look, it's just because nobody made that.
Anyone actually really said that?
Yeah, absolutely. Go look it up. Go look up Band-Aids are racist, and I guarantee you'll find something.
Wait, because that's insane. If so, like, what? How much of a non-problem is that?
No, it's a huge problem. It's a huge problem. Johnson & Johnson announces new Band-Aids, but that can't fix racial inequality. Forbes. That's a Forbes article from June of this year.
Oh, God.
Johnson & Johnson announced last week that it's making a change to its production of Band-Aid brand bandages. That's a fucking tongue twister. To include brown and black skin tones. To embrace racial diversity. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it, but I love that it's like, okay, you want flesh-colored Band-Aids that are in different skin tones? Let's do it. That's great. Even though it's going to cost us a little bit more. That you want to hide your boo-boo? Whatever. Fine.
But why does it matter?
No, I mean, I'm one of those people that's like, if I have a Band-Aid and you give me a fucking Batman Band-Aid, it doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean? If you give me like a kid's Band-Aid or a transparent one, just don't give me a shitty one, you know? But people's priorities are fucked. And that's the problem, is that they're all trying to aim towards one thing. They're all, that's why it's called progressivism and not communism, is because they want to achieve something that's in the distance. They can't deal with the baseline. That's the issue that these people have. Their baseline is below, like, it's not poverty, but mental poverty. They're in mental slavery. They're below the poverty line of intelligence and sensibility. So they're like, they walk around and they see, where are all the black or the brown Band-Aids? And they make an issue out of it. Because it's a distraction from the real issues that are going on inside, which are, I'm useless, I don't do anything in society, I feel unfulfilled, I don't have a good relationship, I don't have a good job, all the real issues.
All right, here is Coolman229. Thank you, sir. I just came off a stream and saw this on. What's the video today? Also, the famous Shepherd Steve scream, and then the famous Ashley Steve scream.
Steve!
It's very hard to replicate.
Message coming in.
You can't. It's like such a Wilhelm scream. You can't quite replicate it.
It's basically just get Mark Meir to scream, Steve! Like really, really loud. And then go, you sure? Oh, okay, stay safe. And then Ashley like loses her shit. For whatever
it goes,
maybe you should do another take there. That was perfect.
And then what's his? Can't remember his name now. Big guy, big Spanish Mexican guy.
Spanish Mexican. Oh, we're talking about Mass Effect. Oh,
Mass Effect 3. Yeah.
What's his face? Slab Bulkhead. Yeah.
Can't remember his name. It's like, give me your fuckers.
Okay.
It's like,
oh yeah. The weird final moments of Mass Effect 3 just does not compute to human knowledge, human intelligence.
It's kind of on the same lines. There's like random moments in the first Mass Effect game, especially towards the end. It didn't seem like they were recording all the lines in the same room, so they don't have the same tone. So you'll just turn around to Ashley and say, yeah, we need to get to the controls. And then Ashley will just scream in your ear, quick, get to the controls! And then like really loud in a completely different tone of voice. Like, we need to get there now. It's like, what? Why are you screaming at me? Don't scream at me.
I could buy it if it was like a military thing, like the guy repeats everything you say as an order to everyone else. But there's only
I'm
three
not talking
of
about repeating. It's just tone of voice. Like all of a sudden they'll just scream when like no one else is screaming.
Well, I think the time when she blows away Rex is kind of like, whoa, where did that come from? It's like, what?
Oh, did not see that coming. That was a plot twist and a half.
That was like,
it subverted my expectation.
I knew you were xenophobic.
I'm fine with murder.
It's like, wow.
Here I go murdering aliens again.
Here's Mike Testa. That rap music was perfectly timed with the voice. What rap music? All we have is sweet, sweet drum kits. And that's all we've got on the Smudcast. I don't know about this rap thing you're talking about. Anyway.
Yeah, what was it? When did the rap
voice drop as a beat?
Oh, you guys can't hear it if they're using the donation box through Streamlabs. So.
Oh, sure. Just because I'm a radio, I play music at whim.
No, but you do play drums.
Fucking bigot.
You play drums. We've heard you play drums.
This is the problem with Bioshock Infinite. There's no drums in the story. If you put drums, the people who play drums and listen to drum music would be included, and that's a good thing.
Yes, that would appeal to me, and I would if it wasn't for the fact I live with the managers of the bar that I run, and if I play the drums at 12 o'clock at night, they'll fucking kill me.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they'll smash me into little pieces and
donate to Voices. Donate to Voices Patreon so you can get one of those digital kits where you can hear it through the headphones. And he can make beats. And he can make beats, and then he can send them to me, and I can make raps about our Smudcast coverage. That'd be funny.
Totally do that.
Me and the boys making noise with voice.
This is the problem. This is the problem that comes with sleeping with the managers. No, fucking.
Sleeping with the managers, you gotta sleep with the boss, man. These are amateur hours. Get those rookie numbers up.
All righty. Well
I
then.
tried to tap that, but they're lesbians, so they're not having any of it.
All of these jokes work with the fact that you're on a bar. All these puns. Yeah. Anyway.
There's a
That
joke
was
in
a
there
slip and a
somewhere.
half.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Some word.
There's a joke in there somewhere. I have a voice trapped within a radio manager of a cocktail bar living upstairs to it with the two lesbian managers. Yeah.
You just
Somebody needs
on their
to-
desk.
Yeah.
Voice lives inside of a British sitcom. I'm hearing that. Me and the lesbians. Oh, what is it?
It feels like that. I promise you, it's almost like that.
Just he's a character who they turn to every now and again. It's like there's an audience cheer whenever he appears.
He's the character that like they're arguing or something, and then there's like one of those beds that is attached to the wall 90 degrees and then folds down, and when you pull the bed out, its voice on the radio is just lying there on the computer.
It's the kind of show where I walk in, my first scene, I'd be like, "Hello, everyone," and then the canned laughter and cheering starts.
Wow. Okay. Thank you.
The Smudcast is not performed in front of any live audience.
Live studio audience.
They're all fakers.
The Smudcast is performed inside of an audience that's dead inside.
We're not including all the audience members because they're not all black, unfortunately. So we can't talk about them.
Now we need a Smudcast parody where it's all just a sitcom.
I'm down with that.
Well, I remember because obviously the guy dream when you're living in an above apartment to a bar with a couple of lesbians is, we're all secretly thinking it. One of them came up to me the other day. I was like, "Hey, voice, we have a proposition." I was like, "Oh, really? What is that?" It's like, "We're gonna make you manager to the bar." I was like, "Oh." Not the proposition I had in mind.
Turns out he thought he was gonna get two at once. Instead, he got too much of a hard job.
Message coming in.
Kill me.
Patching it through.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and shoot myself. You guys just continue.
Alrighty.
Right before when they kill themselves, that's when you roll the credits. So you can just it's the pause, right? You know how usually at the end of a sitcom there's like that pause and then the credits roll? It's just voice shooting himself in the head next to Shiny, and then there's just blood splatter as the credits roll.
Oh, that reminds me of that
blood, it'd be
parody.
sparks.
What was that parody? Oh, what was the name of that stupid parody? It was just gore with the twist on, or the parody on the Full House sort of idea. Too Many Cooks, I think was it was called. Too Many Cooks, da 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 da, and all this gore. You guys remember? Search for Too Many Cooks on YouTube, you'll find it.
Just this random tangent is hilarious. I love it.
Yeah.
The problem is that I shouldn't have said that because one of them watches these podcasts back.
Oh.
Hello. Please don't fire me.
Well, it's just a joke, right? You just laugh it off.
No,
It's a joke.
Just blame me.
Okay, that works.
Yeah,
Mike
that's
Testa.
what most people do.
Do you have music in your ear, car, bar radio? Yes, I'm sure there's music at the bar.
But of course, there's a piano.
Really?
There's
But
a
how do you
piano.
play it with no hands?
I don't play it. It's open for the patrons to come in and
Message
play
coming
a
in.
tune if they want.
Patching
For
it
that
through.
matter, how do you play drums?
Very difficultly.
I just realized the shot of Liana K looks like she has 3 arms because the hand is sticking out. Okay, let's get back to it. Oh, wait, we got a super chat from Skids. Cavernacle and X Badger Knight X, vids links on Discord. Is that your recommendation? If it is, that's great. You didn't have to super chat, but thank you. No problem. Let's get back to the video. We got a minute left.
We're gonna take your toys away. So that's my cat. I don't know if you heard that boing noise that just happened.
Don't care.
That's my cat jumping off his perch. So he's about to come here and break something. So I'm gonna sign off. I didn't even get to show my picture of Flemeth. Here I must. Flemeth, because she's one of the most awesome women in gaming. Yay!
No, she's not.
No?
She's
Who?
boring. Flemeth.
Never heard of her.
Dragon Age 2, Dragon Age 3.
Never played Dragon Age.
Okay, well,
Like greatest women in gaming, never heard of her. I've never played Metroid, but I've heard of Samus.
just imagine Captain Janeway being Shakespearean and laughing. That's about it.
So psychopathic.
Yeah, well, yeah. Again, yeah, Captain Janeway just laughing.
And I love David Gator, and I love.
Oh, David Gator. Again, he's not bad, but he's not the be all of fantasy writing. If Dunn was here, he'd probably have something to say about David Gator, but he's not. That's okay.
Dragon Age. The other one for a second. No, I don't want to go back to Elizabeth.
I'll show you what. Now you put your right hand out too.
Why?
Face the camera, put your right hand out. No, towards the camera. Let's use it.
Now he's taking orders from a man.
Cringe.
We're white.
Oh, she's got an
Cringe.
animated
Oh my god,
Twitter.
dude.
Cringe.
follow Red Liana K.
What the bloody hell are you on about, love? Fucking crazy.
I like how her first part of her Twitter handle is red, so it implies she's a redneck, or she's one of those
Or a
Native Americans, or a commie.
This is why videos need structures and why you shouldn't
Message
just
coming in.
run.
Yeah.
Because you end up with these weird fucking moments that just are not funny. Like it's.
Are you in the kitchen right now?
No, I was just leaning down on the floor because I was grasping my sides like
Grasping your
cringe.
size? Is that what you just said?
No, I was what?
Grasping your size. That's what I heard.
Side.
Grasping your side.
Yeah, so like I was like grabbing my rib, pretending to be in pain from the cringe.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Well, we're done. I think we stop here. We're going to have game night really soon. Oh, super chat from Coolman229. Thank you, sir. Never heard of her. Full House theme plays.
I wish I remembered any of those sitcom themes. I can't remember any of them. All I remember is that one that I was humming about.
It's nice to know that you think my life is a sitcom.
No, I doubt. I bet it's a fucking shitcom.
Yeah, it probably is. It's like it's the spin-off version of Friends.
It's like
they had that one called it was just Joey.
Oh god, so that's pretty funny actually. So it's not a sitcom. It's like one of those dark spin-offs.
It's called Gay.
Gay,
it is.
Starring voice in the radio.
You know, I think I actually watched a few episodes of that
Message
Joey
coming in.
spinoff, and I liked it.
Patching it through.
Interesting.
The sitcom name would be Two Girls, One Radio.
Ooh.
Yeah, there you go. Well, see, the thing is that Joey, the character, isn't, it's whatever. But I feel like, what's his name? Matthew something or whatever? I don't know what the actor's name.
Yeah.
I think that guy is, yeah. I think he is charismatic enough to carry the show, which is why I think that other British show that he did worked out well. I don't remember what that was.
Well,
it wasn't Extras.
The good thing about the Joey show wasn't so much Joey, it was the actors around him that were really good.
Right.
It was the same with that. It was an American Girl show where she was a comedian, but it was like the grandmother was really funny. The dad, like they had all these other setups and they were perfect for them. And she was just there to deliver the setup, like set the scene. So because I'm Italian, I listened to Joey's like playing the Italian stereotype, and then she has a Italian sister. And it's like, oh, okay, this is perfect. Like it works for me. So, but it was actually somewhat clever stuff. And I don't know. I liked it. But yeah, no, you're right. I do like, was it Matthew Broderick or whatever his name is?
Matt LeBlanc in episodes.
There you go. I was watching an old clip from The West Wing. He was on there. I was watching an old clip from New Vegas. He was in it, but man, he sucked in New Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
God, that was bad.
Absolutely.
And we were just talking about New Vegas about an hour ago. And I was like, oh, like he just phoned in his lines. Like he could do much more, but they didn't work with him. So
I completely forgot about episodes.
It's a good show, I think. I mean, if you're into that sort of thing, it's a little bit more.
It has
it's a little
5
out of my
seasons.
age range. Yeah, Stephen James Mangan and Tamsi, I think her name is. They're pretty talented people, I'd say.
I think I've only watched like the first 2. I had no idea there was like 5 of them.
It's funny because it's all filmed in Britain, but then some of it is supposed to take place in LA, which is hilarious.
All right, guys. I'm going to go switch over to game night. If you guys want to jump in, it's all on the Discord. We have a bunch of players ready to go. I got to set this up. We have movie night tomorrow, roughly the same time we started today. Hopefully we can all make it. I don't know if we all can, but I hope we can get everyone involved. And we'll be watching Mulan, so we won't have a Smudcast tomorrow, unfortunately. But
that's going to be good fun.
It'll be great fun. It'll be knee-slapping good time, I hope. As opposed to head-bashing into wall good time, which is never a good time. So, thanks for tuning in. That was Liana K. This is one of the very few videos I ever watched. It reminds me of a previous video I watched, which was rambling and kind of hard to follow. But it was actually okay. This one was bad.
Write a script.
Oh, God, yeah. Anyway.
Unless you're Rags, then you can just do it.
Well, yeah, if you're that talented, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Whew. All right, gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Glib, for popping in. Always appreciate it. Shiny, hope you're doing okay with school. And Voice, good to hear you, sir, with your brand new whatever equipment you just got for yourself. Good stuff.
Thank you.
All right. So I
would say I'm doing good.
Not
but I'm
paying
broke.
for itself.
Yeah.
No, I'm broke now. Here's the thing. Becoming manager of a bar is great, but if you're about to go back into lockdown where the bars close, not so great.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, okay, cool. Now what?
He wants you to do all this work that's not there. Oh, all right.
It's not going to happen now. So, okay, I can get back to doing nothing.
Right. Well, guys, we'll talk real soon, or you'll see me real soon at game night. So see you in 10 minutes. Good night.
Way.